It's Tuesday, July 21st. Today, a desperate search in the Whiteshell. Search and rescuers are still working feverishly to find two boys who went missing in Nutimik Lake over the weekend. Also today, the trade war heats up. President Donald Trump is imposing a new 50% tariff on some Canadian goods, including wine, hockey sticks, and cement. What Prime Minister Mark Carney said to respond. Plus, Grow Jets Grow. A seeding company in southwestern Manitoba, it's putting its stamp on fandom this summer and bringing a funny new experience for hockey fans. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. I'm Catherine Dow in the chair today for Rochelle Legacy. Tandy Vera is helping us out on weather today. We've got a lot on the go, including our own Ainsley McPhail, always on the go. She's made her way to Gimli this morning, where she's going to be learning about the Gimli Iceland Heritage Museum. I've never been, Tandy. Have you?
I've been too.
Gimli's a gem, and this museum also looks to be a gem. She's going to be getting previews of some temporary and permanent exhibitions, some details about programming for the summer, all of those details on the way. But first off, Tandy, last night, a little bit of thunderstorm activity. My dog did not appreciate it.
Yeah, a little bit of thunderstorm activity was expected according to Environment Canada. Some parts of the province did experience. Sorry folks, just a few technical difficulties right now. It's 14 degrees, mostly sunny outside with a few clouds peeking through, winds gusting north-northwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 93%. So yes, yesterday we did experience that very light thunderstorms as well as some rain. There was some cloud coverage. That was expected by Environment Canada. Sorry folks, I'm just dangling with some mics here, some few technical difficulties. Looking at our satellite image right now, there's not too much to show you besides the fact that there's a bit of cloud coverage. We're going to have a mix of sun and cloud today for most of the province. Looking ahead, there might be a few light showers throughout Wednesday for different parts of the province. That's because of a low pressure system coming in from the west. So that is to be expected for different parts. But again, those places might be Dauphin, Thompson, etc. So you just want to keep that in mind when going about. But mostly for us on tap, we have sunny skies. Really nice sunny skies on the go. So you want to just keep that in mind. And if we look into the next 7 days on our forecast, it's mostly sunny. Sunshine is all that we have, and that's what's to be expected. So just getting those good times, summertime vibes, great time to go out and spend time with family and folks. So summertime's on the way.
Thanks, Tandy. Recovery teams are searching Nutimik Lake in the Whiteshell for two boys who ended up in the water on Saturday. It's believed a 10-year-old slipped into the water at Sturgeon Falls, and his 13-year-old brother went in to save him. CTV's Jeff Keel reports.
A heartbreaking search continues for two brothers, 10 and 13, who fell into the water Saturday at Nutimik Lake in the Whiteshell.
The boys have not been found, and we really want them to be found for the family, to give them some closure. This is hard.
RCMP say it happened near Sturgeon Falls Trail. They believe the 10-year-old slipped on some rocks and fell into the rapids. The 13-year-old tried to save him, but then got caught in the current and swept away.
We obviously don't ever want to lose out hope on anything, but all indications is that the folks did see the boys go under the water and did not resurface.
Underwater recovery teams have been deployed and are using sonar technology to search the lake, but the choppy waters and number of rocks below are hindering efforts.
We'll need a miracle here, and so if the audience can just say a prayer for the family, this is what it'll take. Is some divine intervention here.
Still, Mounties say some clothing was found, likely belonging to the 13-year-old. The owners of Nutimik Lodge have been looking after the boys' family members, giving them a place to stay during the search, and they've set up a GoFundMe page for the relatives.
They will stay with us as long as need be. They are not wanting to leave, and we totally understand and we respect that.
This isn't the first drowning tragedy at this site. A 38-year-old woman died last year, a 12-year-old boy in 2023. Lodge owner Allison Baker-Thiessen says there will be a push to add protective measures.
A lot of us that are going to stand with Manitoba Parks, and we are going to find a way to make this a safer place. It has been too many incidents.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
And Baker-Thiessen says as many as 25 boats from the community were also out searching. She says she's in contact with the brothers' family, saying they're hurting and they want to bring their boys home. Ontario Premier Doug Ford is calling Trump's threat to tariff Canada for wildfire smoke rubbish.
You got to remind President Trump that there's 3.9 million acres burning in the United States right now. And if we had resources, we would send them down to our closest friends and allies. So, you know something, rather than criticize and threaten Canada, your closest friends, maybe one day you're going to need our help like you did last year, and we deployed the people.
Ford is urging U.S. politicians to stop complaining and send help instead. Nearly 200 wildfires are currently burning in northern Ontario, with flames now covering 735,000 hectares. It's shaping up to be Ontario's worst fire season on record, surpassing the previous record set in 2021. The vast majority of that has burned over the last 10 days, following severe thunderstorms and a scorching heat wave.
If you want one actionable thing that will help forest management in British Columbia and across Canada and impact less smoke going into his jurisdiction, it is to drop the duties and drop the tariffs on our softwood lumber.
In BC, Forestry Minister Ravi Parmar fired back at Trump, too. He says if Washington removed tariffs already in place on Canada's softwood lumber sector, it would have a significant impact on forest management, resulting in less wildfire smoke heading south of the border. He also pointed out the partnership that's already been in place, noting that earlier in July, a BC helicopter pilot was killed in a crash while fighting fires in Colorado. New details have emerged about a weekend car crash that killed Saskatchewan Rough Riders team captain Jaden Dalkey. RCMP say the 30-year-old was driving on the wrong side of a highway when his vehicle crashed into another SUV. Both drivers were killed.
Initial investigation determined a silver SUV and a black SUV collided. The silver SUV was traveling northbound in the southbound lane when the collision occurred. As part of the investigation following, officers located and seized alcohol and cannabis in the silver SUV. Autopsies and toxicology will be conducted as part of the ongoing investigation. We do not have the results of those right now.
Dalkey was from Alberta and was signed by the Riders in 2022. He appeared in 68 regular season games and helped the team win the Grey Cup last year. We are getting a clearer picture of just how much damage was done during last month's rainstorm at Dauphin Regional Health Centre and what it'll take to get the hospital back up and running. Prairie Mountain Health says significant damage was done to critical infrastructure. That includes to its medical gas systems, pharmacy, and HVAC system. Prairie Mountain's immediate focus is restoring lab and diagnostic services near Dauphin. In the meantime, St. Rose Hospital's emergency department is open 24/7. STARS Air Ambulance has moved from Winnipeg to Brandon, and Dauphin area maternity patients are being directed to Brandon or Nipawin. More details can be found on Prairie Mountain Health's website. There are thousands of Sony PlayStation games, and most are on a physical disc. But the company says it will stop making physical copies of games in 2028 and go completely online. And fans aren't taking the move lying down. Winnipeg-based PNP Games has launched a petition asking Sony to keep the physical format alive, and it's grown bigger than they had anticipated. So far, 333,000 people have signed.
Something that's lost is the ability to actually share these games with other people. Like, you know, in 30 years, if I want to share a game with, say, a grandchild or something like that, I may not have the ability to do that at all, purely because of a company decision.
Sony says the decision to end physical media is due to changing consumer preferences. It says consumer preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. Congratulations are in order at the Detroit Zoo. The baby gorilla is just the second gorilla born in the zoo's history. Officials say this baby girl was born to a first-time mom. Staff are closely monitoring them, and so far, zoo officials say both mom and baby are doing well. Congratulations indeed. McPhillip Street, pretty busy actually for this time of day, although looks to be moving along at a good pace. No major stalls or crashes to tell you about, but if you have any traffic tips to share, you can always text us at 10400. Okay, we're saying good morning to Ainsley McPhail. Love the hat, Ainsley.
Thank you. We're at the New Iceland Heritage Museum in Gimli. I'm taking you back to October of 1875, over 150 years ago, when the Icelandic people landed in Winnipeg. And at the museum, they have a brand new exhibition where they're featuring a series of photographs that highlight places in Winnipeg that are significant to that time. The museum here, though, over 4,000 artifacts. They see thousands of people from all over the world every single year. Next weekend is the big Icelandic Festival, a celebration of culture and heritage. But you have to come to the museum too, because they're open 12 months a year, 7 days a week, and it's fun for the kids too.
And for you, Ainsley, I think. It looks like a lot of fun down there. Thanks so much. We'll check in with you throughout the morning. Up on the rooftop, Tandy Vera is. It's looking pretty calm yesterday as opposed to yesterday when it was pretty blustery.
Yes, it was pretty windy yesterday, especially during that early morning wind. But right now, it's very tame, it's very cool. It's a nice cool, which is what we want to experience after experiencing all that intense heat. It's 13 degrees right now, mostly sunny outside, though the sky downtown is clear. The sun is trying to peek through slowly. It's here, almost here. Winds are gusting north-northwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 94%. So yes, yesterday we experienced that thunderstorm in different parts of the province. There was that risk according to Environment Canada. It didn't last for long, though it was very gray outside, I will say, and some parts experienced quite heavier showers and moderate to heavy rain. But for here in downtown Winnipeg and most of southern Manitoba, we didn't experience as much rain as our friends up in the north. Right now, I do want to note that there are a few air quality warnings in effect for Thompson, the Pas, all across the north, and that's due to that wildfire smoke in the area and coming in from eastern Ontario. So that's just something to keep in mind. But anyway, we're taking a break right now, and we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
A 49-year-old man is facing impaired driving charges following a crash in downtown Winnipeg. The remains of police tape and a plastic-wrapped signal box show where the collision took place on Balmoral Street by Sargent Avenue Sunday morning. Police say a Ford Mustang was headed eastbound on Sargent at a high rate of speed when the driver lost control while trying to turn onto Balmoral. The car collided with a bus shelter and a hydro pole before coming to rest on the signal box with its front wheels on the ground. No one was hurt. Officers spoke with the driver and believe alcohol was a factor in the crash. Donald Trump is reigniting the trade clash with Canada, threatening 50% tariffs on about $20 billion U.S. worth of Canadian goods. That includes dairy, wine, even hockey sticks. CTV's Mike LeCouture on when the new levies take effect.
A day after concluding co-hosting a successful World Cup, the U.S. is threatening to penalize Canada on the trade field. President Donald Trump signed orders Monday that would slap 50% tariffs on a long list of Canadian exports, including milk products, Canadian alcohol, plywood, hockey sticks, flowers and bulbs, clothing, and paper products.
It is extensive, though. It's a big move from the Americans.
Brian Clow is the former Deputy Chief of Staff to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. He's seen this pressure play before in the first Trump administration, but says this negotiation is different.
Now the Americans are just hammering Canada and pushing us to make a bunch of one-sided unilateral concessions. So this is the tough spot the Carney government is in.
In a statement, Prime Minister Mark Carney vowed to support Canadian workers while saying, quote, over the past 18 months, Canada has made a series of detailed and comprehensive proposals to resolve this dispute and to modernize CUSMA. We stand ready to intensify those discussions in the coming weeks. And some connected to those conversations say there has been progress.
You know, I will note that the conversations over the last few months have been productive, and our list of outstanding irritants is down to single digits. So not to be unexpected, but still always disappointing.
A senior U.S. official who briefed reporters said the reason for these new tariffs was because of Canada's supply-managed dairy sector, reciprocal tariffs Canada put on some American-made cars, and the ban on U.S. alcohol in some provincial liquor stores. Ontario Premier Doug Ford championed the booze ban, and in a post on X, he went even further, saying if these tariffs proceed, Canada should respond tariff for tariff, dollar for dollar.
It really harms industry. It harms companies. It harms our supply chain, and it's extremely unfortunate at a time where we should just be sitting down and concluding an agreement.
And there's more pressure to conclude any kind of agreement. While discussions on the trilateral trade deal continue, Canada has just 30 days to convince the U.S. administration not to hit this country with 50% tariffs.
Thousands of protesters tried to march on India's parliament, defying police orders, demanding education reforms. Several people were injured when police used tear gas and batons to disperse crowds. The march followed weeks of peaceful demonstrations by youngsters who call themselves cockroaches after India's Chief Justice compared unemployed young people to parasites. What started as an online satire with millions of followers quickly transformed into a nationwide on-ground movement. Winnipeg travelers will have 2 new destinations to help them escape the cold this winter. WestJet is adding non-stop flights from Winnipeg to Belize City, Belize, and Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. The once weekly Punta Cana route takes off on November 28th. Flights to Belize City start December 14th. The new routes are among 5 being added to the schedule across Canada this winter. Here's something you don't see every day. A corn maze shaped like the Winnipeg Jets heritage logo is sprouting up in southwestern Manitoba. It is the brainchild of Jeffrey's Seed and appears in a 30-acre field owned by Over the Hills Farms in Glenborough. Cale Jeffries, the seeding company's CEO, says the 10,000-square-foot emblem didn't just pop up. Planning actually started back in the winter using the farm's GPS-enabled planter.
Kind of demonstrate what technology can do in agriculture and really just have some fun with it. I mean, yeah, it's about yield and making the most of your crops, but sometimes it's just about having fun and showing some passion.
The Jets shared an aerial photo of the logo on Friday with a nod to Crave television series Letterkenny, writing, "Not my corn maze, not my farm, but that there's a genuine work of art." The corn maze is free to the public. And a couple of traffic issues to tell you about. Road closures this morning on Ash Street. The southbound curb lane will be closed from Wellington Crescent to Academy Road. All eastbound lanes on Corden Avenue will be closed from Wentworth to Lilac Street, with a temporary median crossover taking place. And on King Edward Street, the southbound curb lane and right turn lane will be closed from Bannatyne to Notre Dame Avenue. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
Okay, so it's 13 degrees right now, mostly sunny outside, winds gusting north-northwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 94%. So yes, 13 degrees right now is what we have on tap. A very chill start to the morning compared to what we've had for the past couple of days. Looking across the province, we have Portage at 15 degrees, Brandon at 12 degrees, Dauphin at 12 degrees, Swan River at 12 degrees as well as the Pas at 12 degrees. I do want to note they're facing they have an air quality warning right now due to that wildfire smoke. Same with Island Lake, which is at 11 degrees currently, and Thompson as well, 8 degrees. Little Lake at 9 degrees. They're dealing with mist this morning, according to Environment Canada. We've got Churchill at about 10 degrees this morning. And looking now at our satellite image, as I mentioned today, it's mostly a clear day, mostly sunny today with those clouds mixing in between. But across the province, we're mostly going to be experiencing some sunshine on tap with those cool temperatures, a high of 22 for here in Winnipeg. Winnipeg. In fact, by the time it gets to, by the time it gets to lunchtime, it's going to be about 20 degrees, winds gusting north at 20 kilometers per hour. So very low winds compared to what we had yesterday. Those winds were quite intense and only intensified throughout the morning, going from 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. And some places up in the north, it was at 90 kilometers per hour. But for today, we're very cool, very chill start to the day is what we're going to experience. And looking at our 7-day forecast for the rest of the week, we just have sunshine on tap for those summertime vibes. And we're going to get into those highs during the weekend, those high 30s. So you want to keep that in mind. That humidity is going to increase as well as that heat. Now looking at our beautiful Skywatch pic of the day from Pam, beautiful, just out at Clearwater Lake. Please keep those pictures coming. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
It may be July, but some parents are already starting to get on the back-to-school shopping train. The lists are long and the costs are putting pressure on shrinking household budgets. CTV's Denise Roberts reports.
School displays are up and parents are out looking for deals.
A lot of erasers, Sharpies, pens, pencils, colors, highlighters, Scotch tape, and the list goes on.
It all adds up, especially when there's multiplication involved.
I'm buying for two, and it was about $130, and I'm not done.
We don't have a choice, says this parent. If our child arrives at school without them, we'll get a note telling us what's missing and what we need to buy. But more families are having a hard time affording what's on those lists, according to Anne-Marie Etier of Regroupement Partage.
When you have to choose between paying your bills, between paying your rent, or with feeding your family, you know, school supplies down the list.
The nonprofit's Operation Sac à Dos campaign outfits children in need with a lunchbox and backpack filled with everything from calculators to pens and notebooks. Etier says since the pandemic, the demand for their services has surged, even in households where both parents are employed.
So this year, we're helping 12,000 kids throughout the provinces. But this is not nearly close as the demands. So we could be helping 6 times that much children.
And while the goods packed in here are valued at $185, the cost of sending kids back to school is far more. The Retail Council of Canada estimates the average cost, including electronics, runs between $600 and $750 per child. And parents are feeling the pressure, according to their annual school shopping survey.
When we look at the main sentiment themes that came out of the survey, definitely affordability was that defining issue. In fact, as I said, more than 9 in 10 parents say that it feels more expensive, with 53% actually telling us it's a lot more expensive.
While other factors like inflation may be adding to the load, Etier says programs like Operation Sac à Dos are needed to ease the burden for parents and their kids.
It gives them a lot of confidence. It puts them on the same pedestal as their friend when they start the year.
Giving them the tools to succeed. Denise Roberts, CTV News.
You don't always need a powerful mower to get a fresh-cut lawn. Experts in Hungary are offering training on the art of scything. There's a lot to learn. The scythe has to move differently depending on the plant. There's also the work to maintain a thin, sharp blade. But to people who have mastered the practice, this is a quiet and sustainable option to manage their land. Traffic starting to increase along Main and Broadway. Looks to be moving along at a good pace. We're taking a break. Don't go anywhere.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires, proudly keeping Canadians rolling for 50 years.
13 degrees right now, mostly sunny outside, winds gusting north-northwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 94%. So looking at our satellite image this morning, not much to show you, not much on tap for us. It's mostly going to be clear skies for us with those clouds peeking through. There is a low pressure system that's been forming out in the east, but besides that, not much here for Manitoba. So you can expect a very dry start to the day, but a cool start to the day. And looking now for our high, it's going to be 22 degrees with winds gusting north at 20 kilometers per hour. Again, mostly sunny, a very cool day compared to the other days that we've been having, but don't worry, towards the weekend it's going to be even hotter and it's going to be a scorcher. But looking into tonight, the evening time, it's going to be 12 degrees. We have very low winds and a few clouds in the sky, so it's going to be mostly clear for us. And now looking into tomorrow, 28 degrees is going to be our high, so quite the jump from 22. Our seasonal average is usually about 26 degrees, so we're going to be 2 degrees above that, winds gusting southwest at 20 kilometers per hour. Again, it's going to be a nice dry day, mostly sunny across Winnipeg. And looking into our 5-day forecast, as I mentioned, on the weekend time, we have those 30s that are coming in, so it's going to be a scorcher. It's going to be hot. Environment Canada does warn that the humid X will increase as well, so you need to stay hydrated for the rest of the week.
Thanks, Tandy. Voters go to the polls today in a provincial by-election in northern Manitoba. The riding of the Pas-Kamisak was previously represented by NDP member Amanda Laughlin, who died in March. There are 4 candidates running for the seat, including Jennifer Flett for the NDP, Edna Nebes for the Progressive Conservatives, and Dan Quinnell for the Manitoba Liberal Party. Former Progressive Conservative leadership candidate Wally Doddridge is also in the race, running under the Keystone Party banner. Doddridge moved to the Keystone Party after the Tories blocked him from running for the party in the next general election in the riding of Turtle Mountain. The governing NDP currently hold 33 seats in the Manitoba legislature. The PCs have 20, the Liberals hold 1, and there are 2 independent members. Wildfires are forcing thousands to flee and leaving behind a trail of destruction across the country. It's all contributing to an economic impact as well. Take Manitoba loggers who fear a key timber supply is turning to ash. CTV's Alex Karpa spoke to one logger in Elma, a community feeling the effects firsthand.
That is jack pine.
Grant Currian is looking over what he says is a dwindling supply of logs on his property. He's among Manitoba loggers worried about the long-term impact on the industry as wildfires rage across the country.
When you get a fire, you get a void in that inventory. So that means it's going to hit you, it's going to impact you down the road.
Currian says that impact is already being felt. Last year's wildfires burned nearly 9 million hectares across Canada, including 2.38 million hectares in Manitoba.
Supply has definitely dwindled. It is getting very concerning.
Canada's forest sector employs about 200,000 people and contributes more than $20 billion to the economy. Analysts say wildfires create a ripple effect across the industry by reducing the timber available for mills.
This is a seasonal thing where we get, the fires are around longer and longer as it goes, but the bigger problem is as the fires burn, that takes away more fiber for mills, and a lot of times you have to go back and salvage what you can.
The loss of timber also threatens jobs, particularly in rural and northern communities that rely on forestry. Experts fear an already active wildfire season could intensify.
It looks like a very active season. It's kind of reminiscent of 2024. Had a quiet start and then picked up, and that's exactly what 2026 is doing.
Despite the challenges, Currian says he'll do everything he can to keep his operation running.
The fires have gotten a lot worse.
Currian says provincial and federal governments should be investing more into wildfire prevention and suppression, saying stronger firefighting efforts are critical to protecting an industry that has become increasingly vulnerable. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Elma, Manitoba.
As the Premier's conference gets underway today, Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston has thanked our U.S. neighbors for offering help with wildfires. But he did take a shot at U.S. President Donald Trump while doing so.
Because that's what friends do when you're in trouble. They help. They don't threaten you. They don't laugh at you. They don't stand by and watch things burn. They don't tariff you. They act.
Premier Houston will be in Charlottetown today to meet with his fellow provincial and territorial leaders. New U.S. tariffs will likely come up in talks. Reducing domestic trade barriers and major projects will also be high on the agenda. The meeting runs until tomorrow, before a meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney on Thursday. Ottawa has extended the service contract for its aging submarine fleet. The 6-year extension is worth $1.1 billion. There's also an option to extend the contract for another 12 years. Ottawa is planning to replace the Navy's Victoria-class submarines with subs from German shipbuilder TKMS. TKMS is promising the first delivery by 2032. There's a warning now about using Google Maps for hiking directions in BC. Lions Bay Search and Rescue posted a statement on social media after hikers needed to be rescued from an extremely challenging trail in the province. They had planned their trip using the platform. The printout said the hike along part of the Howe Soundcrest Trail would take a total of 5 hours and 13 minutes, when officials say a proper estimate of how long that trek would take is between 12 and 14 hours. The team is providing a list of free paid hiking apps it recommended, free and paid hiking apps. Tributes for Spain's World Cup winning soccer team are pouring in from around the world, including one that is cropped up in a farmer's field. This impressive image is the work of a land artist in Italy who created a 200-meter-long World Cup trophy. It's accompanied by the word España, the Spanish name for Spain. For this ATM, you're going to need more than just a pin. You will also need paws, because it is an ATM, of course, for dogs. And in this case, ATM stands for Automatic Treat Machine. Pups just have to step onto the pad and it'll give them a free snack. Good deal. This ATM is at the TD Bank on Davie Street in Vancouver. The bank says it's a pilot project and is at 3 locations in Canada. Taking a look at the current traffic situation, lovely sunny drive, so you're going to want to have your visor and your sunnies on hand. Looks to be moving at a good pace. And now taking a look at your gas prices. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.64, small drop from yesterday, and the lowest price in the city is $1.54. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Ainsley McPhail is spending her morning at the New Iceland Heritage Museum. Details about exhibitions and programming just ahead.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Beautiful start to the day. It's very cool right now, and I'm enjoying the very cool temperatures because of all that heat we've been experiencing. It's 13 degrees right now, mostly sunny outside. Though here in downtown Winnipeg, I'm not seeing the sun quite as yet. The buildings are blocking that view, but it is in horizon at the moment. Winds are gusting north-northwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 94%. So across the province, we're going to experience this mixed bag of the suns and clouds. So sunshine and clouds on tap for us. The clouds will increase throughout the afternoon, but mostly we're going to experience the sun. It's going to be a nice cool day, not as hot as we've been experiencing for the past few days. Though I will say on the weekend it will be a scorcher for the whole of Manitoba, just across the province, so you just want to keep that in mind. We did have that thunderstorm yesterday. It didn't last too long here in Winnipeg, but there was some heavy rain up in the north, as well as right now they're facing an air quality warning due to the wildfire smoke, so that's just something to keep in mind. But right now we're going to go check out what Ainsley McPhail is up to. Hey Ainsley, how's it going?
Good morning. We're great. We're in Gimli at the New Iceland Heritage Museum. Juliana Roberts is our first guest, and please tell us about the space. Where are we standing right now?
Good morning. We are standing in the we tell the settlement of New Iceland. So this is the point of the story where the Icelanders would have built their own log cabins and started their journey of the settlement of New Iceland. It started October 21st, 1875, which we all know is the beginning of the winter season. So they very quickly built log cabins. And this is an actual log cabin that was moved here. So.
And so many artifacts, thousands of them. There's also a lot of reading materials too. You want people who are visiting Manitoba and locally to have a better understanding of what happened all those years ago.
Most certainly. So we have, as you said, 4,000 artifacts. We also have an archives, and we have a research library for people sometimes are looking for their family histories, so they can come and access that area by request. And we want people to know that New Iceland actually existed beside the province of Manitoba. So when they first came, Manitoba was a postage stamp province and New Iceland was right next door. And we had our own constitution and elected officials before we were absorbed into the province. province of Manitoba. So we tell a really important part of the creation of Manitoba.
Another important part of that is the water. You can't talk about Gimli without talking about the beautiful water. That's a big part of the history. And there's another building that you guys take care of too.
Right. We have the Lake Winnipeg Visitor Center, and it's at the base of the pier, right at the harbor area, and it tells the story of the relationship with the lake with the people and the fishing. Fishing became the economy that supported the settlement of New Iceland, not only fed them, but became the economy that they could settle and thrive and survive here.
Now there's a brunch spot, and we're going to head there later. There's also a festival celebrating this Icelandic heritage next weekend. Head to our website for more details, or keep watching the show.
A look at the early markets. The Dow Jones climbed 228 points. The Nasdaq is 400 points higher. The S&P index had some gains. The loonie slightly increased, set to 71.14 cents U.S. Overseas, the Hang Seng is flat, and the Nikkei boosted 2,091 points. Welcome back. A 38-year-old man is dead after being stabbed in northeastern Manitoba. It happened Saturday morning in God's Lake Narrows. RCMP say the man was taken to the nursing station with significant wounds. He was transported to Thompson General Hospital, where he died from his injuries. RCMP say there is no ongoing risk to the community. The local RCMP, along with the service's major crimes and forensic unit, are investigating. Anyone with information on this incident is asked to call God's Lake RCMP. An investigation is underway in Sandy Bay First Nation after the remains of an animal rescue volunteer were found near several aggressive dogs. Manitoba First Nations police say very early Friday morning, someone called in concerned for a woman volunteering in Sandy Bay First Nation. Police pinged her phone but said the radius was too large. Then at around 6 a.m., a local maintenance worker found a deceased woman. Police say several aggressive dogs were nearby. The woman's death isn't considered suspicious. Her identity has not yet been officially confirmed. However, Save a Dog Network says she was one of Manitoba's most dedicated animal rescuers who fought tirelessly for preventative spay and neuter programs and worked to end dog shootings. Locally, Canine Advocacy Manitoba says, quote, "It's with heavy hearts that we share our grief over the loss of one of our dedicated canine advocates." The organization says it will sorely miss this member and the lovely heart, hours of involvement, and strong advocacy they brought to such challenging work. And Canine Advocacy Manitoba declined our request for an interview, saying it's not providing any specific details out of respect for the woman's family. A statement from Sandy Bay First Nation, meanwhile, says the woman entered the community after regular business hours and attempted to retrieve dogs. It says the First Nation, quote, "extends its heartfelt condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of the canine advocate who tragically lost her life following an incident involving dogs on our territory." Sandy Bay says it's been actively working to address the long-standing issue of stray and aggressive dogs. It says the facts have not yet been fully determined and is asking people not to speculate or to assign blame. By Monday, people in southwestern Ontario should have another route to get across the border when the Gordie Howe Bridge officially opens.
Unless something crazy happens in Trump land where, you know, there's wildfire smoke and he sees he could leverage this again, who knows? But I think, you know, by all accounts, this is going to move forward. There'll be a ribbon cutting on Friday, opening on Monday.
Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkins confirmed the date, saying it should be smooth sailing next week. As we know, the bridge opening has been delayed multiple times, with U.S. President Donald Trump halting everything in June over the toll revenue agreement. But this time, it seems to be a go. Even U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra confirmed the date. The terms of the deal made between Canada and the U.S. haven't fully been revealed yet. The Conservatives are now pushing for the federal government to release the details. Andy Burnham has officially become Prime Minister of the UK, the 7th British Prime Minister in a decade.
In doing so, I am acutely conscious that I am the 6th person in the last 10 years to walk up this street, the 7th Prime Minister since 2016, making this a moment for reflection and new resolution. It requires my generation of politicians to raise our game and rise to the new challenge.
Burnham, the former mayor of Manchester, arrived at Buckingham Palace to formally take over as Prime Minister following his election as leader of the Labour Party. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. On Ash Street, the southbound curb lane will be closed from Wellington Crescent to Academy Road. All eastbound lanes on Corden Avenue will be closed from Wentworth to Lilac Street with a temporary median crossover. And on King Edward Street, the southbound curb and right turn lane will be closed from Bannatyne to Notre Dame Avenue. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400.
13 degrees right now, mostly sunny outside, winds gusting north-northwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 94%. Now, looking at our satellite image for us this morning, not much to show you because that's what we're going to have today. Not much but sunshine and a few clouds peeking through by the afternoon time. But again, mostly sunny vibes for us compared to what we had yesterday. I will point to the other way and show that there has been a low pressure system that's been building up in the east. However, it's not going to affect most of Manitoba for today, but we might feel that effect on Wednesday, according to Environment Canada. So that's just something to keep in mind. But now looking into the temperatures we have across the province for our highs today, Churchill's going to experience a high of 18 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Thompson at 21 degrees. They might experience some light rain, according to Environment Canada. It's only a 30% chance. Island Lake at 20 degrees, though they're facing air quality warnings right now, as well as Thompson. And looking into Lynn Lake, 23 degrees. They're experiencing some mist right now, and they might experience some showers, according to Environment Canada. Flin Flon with a high of 25 degrees. Norway House at 22 degrees. And looking into Brandon with 24 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Dauphin might experience that 30% chance of light precipitation in the form of showers or rain. Swan River at 24 degrees for the highs. So very high mid-20s for us today. Winnipeg a high of 22 degrees. Our seasonal average is about 26 degrees, so we're a few degrees just shy from that. Portage La Prairie at 22 degrees and Steinbach at 21 degrees. And looking across in Kenora, 19 degrees at Red Lake at 18 degrees. And looking at our 7-day forecast, so happy to tell you it's mostly sunshine on tap. I know we've had that risk of thunderstorms for the past few days, but we're going to experience mostly sunshine for the next couple of days.
Thanks, Tandy. Let's check in now on the team at 101.3 Virgin Radio. Hey, it's Chrissy. I don't see LTI. I see some mic flipping.
Yeah, we said...
no, we didn't. We did not. Don't ever. Listen, he's away for the day. He's back on Thursday. Okay, so me and this guy, along with our producer, Amber, we went to the airport yesterday. So maybe you're catching a flight this summer to Churchill, or maybe you're going to Toronto, or maybe you're going to England. There's a Third and Bird shop at the Winnipeg airport, and it's been there for the last year and a half. Our friend Chandra stocks it with everything that you would find at Third and Bird Market. So all these incredible Manitoba makers. And we also have some of our stuff there as well. If you didn't know, the Ace Birdby Show has Croc charms. You know those little charms that you put on your Crocs? So
we actually have a company. It's Peg City Gibbets.
Yes.
That's the name of the company.
And so you can buy the Golden Boy or a little Honey Dill Croc charm or the YWG airport code. Also, there's a little logo for Confusion Corner. You can buy that all at the Third and Bird shop at the Winnipeg airport. And know that proceeds go to our friends at Cancer Care Manitoba, Children's Rehab Facility, Mama Way, also the Bruce and Ann Oak Foundation. And then we also have those really cool Garbage Hill hats.
So the Garbage Hill hats are an exclusive to that Third and Bird store at the Winnipeg airport. And all the proceeds from those, the Garbage Hill hats, go to the Dream Factory. Dream Factory, we love you. You are amazing. And so that is at Third and Bird at the airport. Yes.
I'm also going to note as well, when you go to that shop, exclusive to Third and Bird.
Oh, yeah.
This is the coolest. You go ahead.
No. With exclusive to they have like mini travel-sized honey dill that won't get confiscated when you go through security because they're the right size.
The perfect gift
so
to take
brilliant.
along. Yeah.
I mean,
Brilliant.
our airport's really leveled up in the last couple of years. Gone are the days of those just like lame Winnipeg shirts that you buy. Amazing stuff, guys. Thanks for sharing all the details. Okay, these teenage twins know a thing or two about showing off their pigs. Here's ABC's Danny New.
Teenagers are not always known for their intense concentration. But then there are the Dadson twins and their many pigs. How much do you guys love your pigs? This much. Karis and crew here are two 16-year-old pig showing prodigies out of California who have both won national competitions in this field. Essentially, there are two main components to showing pigs. One, the dog show-like evaluation of your pig for its breed, and then the showmanship, which for Karis and crew involves gently nudging their pigs in a direction while maintaining a stare that could fry bacon.
Being able to hold eye contact with the judge in front of us shows that we have control over our animal and that, honestly, that we're here to win.
Like their parents before them, Karis and crew were showing pigs at an early age. But actually, even younger than their parents, they got their start at 3 years old. Do you remember a time when you weren't showing pigs in your life?
Honestly, no.
The furthest back I can go in my memory, it's just like me showing at our county fair when I was 3 or 4 years old.
If you take a few steps over here, we have our sows.
Fast forward more than a decade later, and now these two are working every day to take care of their dozens of pigs at their family farm, which is a hobby they say their parents never forced on them or anything. They just love it.
We're out there every day from sun up to sundown, early mornings and late nights. You go out there, you walk pigs, wash pigs, clean pens, feed them, make sure everything is going well.
Kiwi Showmanship Champion is number 11, Karis Dadson.
But on the weekends, it's all about the competitions, as it has been for almost their entire lives.
Honestly, I don't see myself not doing it. It's something that I love, and it's a passion that I have, as well as my family members.
Technically, Karis and crew will age out of most of these competitions in a few years, but they both plan on pursuing degrees in agriculture when they get to college and might even one day judge these same competitions. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
Beautiful start to your Tuesday. We'll have a full update on how the rest of the week is shaping up after the break. It's Tuesday, July 21st. Today, a heartbreaking search. What police are saying about the search for two boys in Nutimik Lake. Plus safety improvements, how the city is working to improve security in Winnipeg's theater district. And a special tribute, how a seating company is honoring the Winnipeg Jets. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining us here on CTV Your Morning Winnipeg. I'm Catherine Dow, temporarily in the chair for Rochelle Legacy. Taddy Vera is handling all the weather for us this morning. We've got a lot on the go today, including an interview at 8 o'clock I'm pretty excited about. Have you ever heard the term liquid adulthood?
Only on TikTok.
Only on TikTok. Yeah, it's this term that's kind of been circulating on social media feeds. It's all about Gen Zs and this term for different milestones that maybe they are or aren't hitting. So we're going to get details. What is this? Is this a thing? Should we be concerned? I love diving into this sort of stuff. So that interview is coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Meanwhile, liquid yesterday in the form of rain, Tandy.
Yes, liquid yesterday, but dry today, thank goodness. Mostly dry today, though different parts might experience some light precipitation in the form of showers. That's up in the north, however. Right now it's 13 degrees, mostly sunny outside, looking beautiful and clear. Winds gusting north-northwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is at 94%. So yes, looking at our satellite image right now, I don't have too much to show you, and that's because it's mostly going to be a clear day filled with sunshine, but those clouds will build up in the later part of the afternoon, and that's just across the province. But I do want to note that different places might experience some light precipitation in the evening or overnight into Wednesday, and this is because there's a low pressure system that's forming out into the west that could taper off into parts of the province, but in the form of light precipitation. So in the form of showers, maybe some light rain. This is according to Environment Canada. but it will clear out mostly by Thursday. It'll be clear days for us, but do want to mention that that could happen, those showers, so you want to just prep for that. That's mostly up into the north as well as parts of central Manitoba. But for us here in Winnipeg, it's mostly going to be clear and we're going to experience the sunshine. And today it's going to be cooler. With that cloud coverage, it's going to make it even cooler than it was yesterday. But by the time we get into the rest of the week, for example, tomorrow, our high is going to be at 28 degrees. So quite intense heat is coming our way, a scorcher, especially during the weekend time where we have mostly sunny skies. Perfect time to go out, but remember to stay hydrated. We're going to have a high humid X according to Environment Canada, so you would just want to keep that of note. And looking at our beautiful weather out of the day from Rafa. Wow, so nice. He reminded me of the summertime vibes. I love the little ladybugs that you drew. Please keep the pictures coming. To submit your child's weather out of the day, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form. Your art can be shown on Your Morning Winnipeg, and we'll also enter you into a monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Cockadoo, Keniston, and Regent locations.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by Crockadoodle Paint Your Own Pottery, now open on Regent and Keniston.
Thanks, Tandy. Recovery teams are searching Nutimik Lake in the Whiteshell for 2 boys who ended up in the water on Saturday. It is believed a 10-year-old slipped into the water at Sturgeon Falls, and his 13-year-old brother went in to save him. CTV's Jeff Keel reports.
A heartbreaking search continues for 2 brothers, 10 and 13, who fell into the water Saturday at Nutimik Lake in the Whiteshell.
The boys have not been found, and we really want them to be found for the family to give them some closure. This is hard.
RCMP say it happened near Sturgeon Falls Trail. They believe the 10-year-old slipped on some rocks and fell into the rapids. The 13-year-old tried to save him, but then got caught in the current and swept away.
We obviously don't ever want to lose out hope on anything, but all indications is that the folks did see the boys go under the water and did not resurface.
Underwater recovery teams have been deployed and are using sonar technology to search the lake, but the choppy waters and number of rocks below are hindering efforts.
We'll need a miracle here, and so if the audience can just say a prayer for the family, this is what it'll take. Is some divine intervention here.
Still, Mounties say some clothing was found, likely belonging to the 13-year-old. The owners of Nutimik Lodge have been looking after the boys' family members, giving them a place to stay during the search, and they've set up a GoFundMe page for the relatives.
They will stay with us as long as need be. They are not wanting to leave, and we totally understand and we respect that.
This isn't the first drowning tragedy at this site. A 38-year-old woman died last year, a 12-year-old boy in 2023. Lodge owner Allison Baker-Thiessen says there will be a push to add protective measures.
A lot of us that are going to stand with Manitoba Parks, and we are going to find a way to make this a safer place. It has been too many incidents.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Baker-Thiessen says as many as 25 boats from the community were also out searching. She says she is in contact with the brothers' family, saying they're hurting and they want to bring their boys home. Folks going to the ballet, theater, or the opera might soon feel a little bit safer getting there.
When people feel comfortable and confident attending performances, festivals, and other events, everybody benefits.
After hearing concerns from the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham has launched the Performing Arts Wayfinder program. It expands on the Downtown Community Safety Partnership's existing program by offering a dedicated patrol around the Centennial Concert Hall, Royal Manitoba Theatre Centre, and nearby parking lots during performances and rehearsals. Patrons can also be escorted to and from their vehicles using the DCSP app.
We're going to work with police, the Downtown Exchange. We're going to work with other community partners, businesses in the whole area here, and really work together at safety and really making the downtown, especially this area, vibrant and an exciting place to come down to and enjoy these shows.
The program will initially have 2 people dedicated to the area, with more Wayfinder teams cycling through the downtown. The mayor's office has provided $100,000 to the program. The dollars, it will run from this September through June.
Here's something you don't see every day. A corn maze shaped like the Winnipeg Jets heritage logo is sprouting up in southwestern Manitoba. It is the brainchild of Jeffrey's Seed and appears in a 30-acre field owned by Over the Hill Farm in Glenborough. Cale Jeffries, the seeding company's CEO, says the 10,000 square foot emblem didn't just pop up. Planning actually started back in the winter using the farm's GPS-enabled planter.
Kind of demonstrate what technology can do in agriculture and really just have some fun with it. I mean, yeah, it's about yield and making the most of your crops, but sometimes it's just about having fun and showing some passion.
The Jets shared an aerial photo of the logo on Friday with a nod to Crave television series Letterkenny, writing, "Not my corn maze, not my farm, but that there's a genuine work of art." The corn maze is free to the public. Some curling icons are among the latest group of Sport Manitoba Hall of Fame inductees. The late Don Duguid is among the 2026 class. He won the Canadian Brier 3 times and was a 2-time world champion. Also being inducted, the 2005 to 2010 edition of Team Jennifer Jones. The team won the Canadian Women's Curling Championship 4 times, the World Championship in 2008, and World Bronze in 2010. Other inductees include rugby player Mandy Marchuk, multi-sport athlete Diane Pidskalny-Herchuk, and Wayne McMahon as an athlete builder in athletics. The induction ceremony will take place at a ceremony on October 29th. For more than 50 years, people in Chapeau, Quebec knew where to get a good cut of meat and a good conversation.
Great guy, great family. You come to get a steak and you're here for an hour talking.
Yeah, talking with them.
Customers came out over the weekend to wish Francis Conroy a good retirement. Francis has been the neighborhood butcher for 54 years. At 91 years old, he is officially hanging up his apron. The butcher shop is staying in the family, which means Francis can still pitch in with some helpful advice. A check-in on traffic brings us to Osborne Street, starting to pick up a little bit. Not terribly busy, though. Good time to hit the road if you want to get into work quickly. If you've got any traffic tips to share, text them to us at 10400.
This may be the tariff that breaks the Canadian camel's back. U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening a 50% tariff on Canadian hockey sticks and hockey equipment. The tariff would also affect booze, dairy, plywood, and cement. Energy and critical minerals would not be hit. Trump is using the Depression-era Tariff Act of 1930 that allows the president to impose tariffs without congressional approval when U.S. goods are being discriminated against. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, may hike prices as much as 10% in 2027 to cover the rising cost of manufacturing materials, according to the Japanese newspaper Nikkei, citing people with knowledge of the matter. The main chip maker to NVIDIA and Apple held talks with unspecified clients about hiking the base prices it charges from 5 to 10%, the newspaper reported. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
CTV's Ainsley McPhail is spending her morning at the New Iceland Heritage Museum over in beautiful Gimli. Ainsley, looks like you're having a lot of fun down there.
Oh, we certainly are. And I love getting these little nuggets of history every time I'm here, many of which originated in Winnipeg as well. The settlement hitting over 150 years they landed here in Manitoba. Now, this brand new exhibition highlights some of that architecture, over 20 different photographs that show little nooks and little pieces of that settlement, one of which actually has a Snow White connection. Can you guess which cafe it is? We will tell you coming up at 7:27. Furthermore, the New Iceland Heritage Museum is spectacular. There's over 4,000 different artifacts, and I haven't done like a full peruse yet, but the gift shop looks pretty darn cool too.
Love a gift shop. All right, pick me up something there, Ainsley. Thank you. Up on the rooftop, looking sunny and lovely up there, Tandy.
Yes, the sun is finally peeking through more. The buildings aren't blocking it anymore, so it's mostly sunny outside right now. 15 degrees, winds gusting north-northwest at 19 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, and the humidity is sitting at 89%. So yes, still a very cool start to the day, and I don't mind it, especially with all that heat that we've been facing for the couple of days. Humidex says we might feel a humidex of about 25 degrees with our high being 22 degrees, so just a few degrees above that due to that heat. But it won't be as intense as it has been for the past couple of days and as it will be for the next couple of days. So just keep that in mind when planning out your weekend, and that's just across the province. Though there are some air quality warnings up in the north, and that's due to that wildfire smoke in the area as well as coming in from northeastern Ontario. So you just want to keep that in mind when traveling about. But besides that, being here on the rooftop right now, it's pleasant outside. I really do love the cool temperatures with that sun peeking through. That cloud coverage will increase throughout the afternoon, and that's across the province. So we're going to have that mixed bag of sunshine and clouds, which we're not too mad at because it's going to be really cool and a very nice tame day to go out and take a walk without having to feel too dehydrated. So if you're thinking about doing that, this is a great time to do it today.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Thanks for that, Tandy. Time now for our question of the day. Today is National Junk Food Day, so we want to know from you, very important, what is your favorite junk food? Snacks, fast food, desserts, what's the one thing you can't go without eating? You can text your answer to us at 10400. Make sure to follow the automatic instructions so we can feature your response on the show, and don't forget to include your name.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic, science-backed body contouring.
At Your Morning Winnipeg, we are all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions have been amazing, and we want to see even more. Whether it's dogs, cats, birds, any other pet pals, send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to Pet of the Week at ctv.ca. Catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. Looking like a busy go on Kenniston at Sterling Line in the heart of rush hour. We'll have a full update just ahead on weather. Just don't go anywhere. Welcome back. A 49-year-old man is facing impaired driving charges following a crash in downtown Winnipeg. The remains of police tape and a plastic-wrapped signal box show where the collision happened on Balmoral Street by Sargent Avenue on Sunday morning. Police say a Ford Mustang was headed eastbound on Sargent at a high rate of speed when the driver lost control while trying to turn onto Balmoral. The car collided with a bus shelter and a hydro pole before coming to rest on the signal box with its front wheels off the ground. No one was hurt. Officers spoke with the driver and believe alcohol was a factor in the crash. We're getting a clearer picture of just how much damage was done during last month's rainstorm at Dauphin Regional Health Centre and what it'll take to get the hospital back up and running. Prairie Mountain Health says significant damage was done to critical infrastructure. That includes to its medical gas systems, pharmacy, and HVAC system. Prairie Mountain's immediate focus is restoring lab and diagnostic services near Dauphin. In the meantime, St. Rose Hospital's emergency department is open 24/7. STARS Air Ambulance has moved from Winnipeg to Brandon, and Dauphin area maternity patients are being directed to Brandon or Neepawa. More details can be found on Prairie Mountain Health's website. As the Premier's conference gets underway today, Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston has thanked our U.S. neighbors for offering help with wildfires. But he took a shot at U.S. President Donald Trump while doing so.
Because that's what friends do when you're in trouble. They help. They don't threaten you. They don't laugh at you. They don't stand by and watch things burn. They don't tariff you. They act.
Premier Houston will be in Charlottetown today to meet with his fellow provincial and territorial leaders. New U.S. tariffs will likely come up in talks. Reducing domestic trade barriers and major projects will also be high on the agenda. The meeting runs until tomorrow, before a meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney on Thursday. Winnipeg travelers will have 2 new destinations to help them escape the cold this winter. WestJet is adding nonstop flights from Winnipeg to Belize City, Belize, and Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. The once-weekly Punta Cana route takes off on November 28th. Flights to Belize City start December 14th. The new routes are among 5 being added to the schedule across Canada this winter. Taking a look at the current traffic situation around Notre Dame Avenue. Really light traffic volumes along this stretch. Not a bad route to take if you're getting into work in a timely manner. She's never played a concert here in Winnipeg, but Madonna fans will soon be able to hear her songs here live on stage. Classic Albums Live performs Madonna, the Immaculate Collection. Will make a stop at the Centennial Concert Hall on October 19th. The first act will see the album, including hits Material Girl, Like a Virgin, and Vogue, performed in full by live singers and musicians. The second act continues with some favorites from the Queen of Pop's extensive catalog. Tickets range from $44.50 through $80 plus fees. They go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. through the Concert Hall box office. It's been about 7 years since the Avengers assembled for Endgame, but the band is about to get back together in Avengers Doomsday. And now we can show you the first full trailer for the upcoming movie.
I died facing enemies and threats that scared me far less than this one.
This trailer gives us our first look at the iconic character Dr. Doom. And as you may have heard, the character is being played by Robert Downey Jr., who was previously Iron Man, of course. The plot of this movie is a tightly guarded secret. All we know is that it brings in heroes from three distinct universes together to face a threat unlike anything they've ever encountered. Avengers Doomsday hits theaters December 18th. And Andrew Garfield is stepping way back in time.
I am no soldier. I am no priest. I'm just a farmer.
This is the trailer for the upcoming film, The Uprising. Garfield stars as the legendary leader of a rebellion against King Richard II. The film also stars Jamie Bell and Tom Hollander. It hits theaters in September. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 with The Big Bang Theory. At 8, catch The Amazing Race Canada. And Password wraps things up at 9. It is all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
15 degrees right now, mostly sunny outside, so it's a beautiful cool start to the day. Winds gusting north-northwest at 19 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 89%. So yes, 15 degrees right now in Winnipeg. Looking into across the province, we have Brandon at 13 degrees, Dauphin at 13 degrees as well, same as Swan River, as well as Island Lake at 12 degrees. They're also dealing with some mist right now, according to Environment Canada. Looking up into the Thompson area, 10 degrees, as well as Lynn Lake at 12 degrees. They're both dealing with some air quality warnings due to that wildfire smoke in the surrounding area and coming in from eastern Ontario. Churchill is at 11 degrees currently, and looking at our satellite image, as I mentioned before, not much to show you for today. It's mostly going to be a clear day filled with lots of sunshine and a few clouds developing in the later part of the afternoon, and that's just across the province, though some places might feel some light precipitation in the form of rain or showers overnight due to a low pressure system coming in from the east. So that's just something to keep in mind. But looking by the time it's 8 a.m., it's going to be 15 degrees. By the time it's the afternoon, about 20 degrees. Winds will be gusting north at 20 kilometers per hour. So not as intense winds as we had yesterday. Thank goodness. Yesterday they were gusting anywhere between 40 to 60 kilometers, while in the north they're dealing with anything between 60 to 90 kilometers per hour, so quite intense winds, but that's not what we're going to have on tap for us today. And again, our high today is going to be 22 degrees, tomorrow 28 degrees, so quite a scorcher tomorrow. And for the rest of the week, it's going to be a scorcher as well, so keep that in mind and keep hydrated. Looking at our beautiful pic of the day from Pam, this was taken out in Clearwater Lake. Such a beautiful picture. It's giving me those summertime vibes. Please keep those pictures coming at Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
July 21st, 1911, transformative communication theorist Marshall McLuhan, who coined the phrase, "the medium is the message," was born in Edmonton. McLuhan spent his formative years in Winnipeg, living in the city from 1915 to 1934. He earned bachelor's and master's degrees from the University of Manitoba. He died December 31st, 1980. July 21st, 1976. 14-year-old Romanian gymnast Nadia Comaneci won the all-round gold medal in women's gymnastics, obtaining perfect scores on the balance beam and the uneven bars. She accomplished the history-making feat in front of 18,000 spectators at the Montreal Forum during the Summer Olympics. July 21st, 2021. Manitoba Premier Brian Pallister appointed former Cabinet Minister Eileen Clark to a powerful financial oversight committee, only to have Clark reject the position. Clark resigned from the Indigenous and Northern Relations portfolio earlier in the month after Pallister stirred up controversy with remarks about Canadian history.
People spend more time outside this time of year, and it seems that's also a good way to give our brains a boost. Here's Mandy Gaither.
The days are longer, the weather is warmer, and for parents, there's a break from the busy school year routine. So summer is a perfect time for small shifts to healthier habits.
All of these small changes, according to research, can make a bigger impact than overhauling your life.
Clinical psychologist Susan Albers with Cleveland Clinic says summer is one of the best times to reset mental health. And she says self-care doesn't have to be expensive or complicated.
It can be as simple as taking a walk outside, starting a new hobby, making a phone call to a friend.
Albers says safe sun exposure outdoors can boost the mood and lower the blood pressure. Add in some exercise and it'll release feel-good hormones that can help you be happier, acting as a natural antidepressant. And she says to try something new.
Our brains love novelty. It helps us to stay curious, engaged, and alert. It's a great time to visit a new museum, take a drive somewhere you've never been.
Albers says social connections are critical for mental health, so invite a friend for some summer fun. And since what we eat impacts how we feel, she says to take advantage of some of the tastiest healthy foods now in season.
During the summer, fruits and vegetables are at their peak. They're freshest. So we're naturally motivated to eat a wide variety and range of colorful foods that nourish our brain and our body.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Ainsley McPhail and cameraman Kenny are spending their morning at the New Iceland Heritage Museum. We preview their current exhibition. That's at 7:28. CTV's Ainsley McPhail and cameraman Kenny are enjoying their morning at New Iceland Heritage Museum. Looks like a really cool exhibition behind you, Ainsley.
I'm glad you mentioned cameraman Kenny, because that's who you saw checking out all those pictures. And 150 years ago, plus an extra bonus year, is when the Icelandic people came to Manitoba. So much rich history, and the history that tells a story through photographs. Juliana is joining us once again. Tell us about this wonderful exhibition.
So this exhibition is Icelandic Winnipeg, and the Icelanders, of course, arrived at the Forks 151 years ago. So this exhibit showcases places in Winnipeg that the Icelanders settled, and there was a big population in around Sargent and Victor, and so these are pictures of those places of importance in Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm. And so much to see. I understand there was a tour where people could take in that history.
There was the Icelandic Canadian Front, which is a chapter of the Icelandic National League of North America, had a tour where they visited all of these places with guided by Stefan Jonassen, who is a historian in Winnipeg. Actually, we are re-offering this tour in September, and this time the tour will go from Gimli to Winnipeg to see the sites, and there's going to be a tour that's coming from Winnipeg to here to New Iceland to do the tour that we offered last year as well. So we're going to exchange so that folks have a chance to see the other Icelandic communities.
So cool. I teased it, and I can't do this without, being out of time. Let's talk about that Snow White connection.
Yeah, so the Weevil Cafe, Charlie Thorson is the creator of Snow White, and he modeled Snow White after a waitress at the Weevil Cafe, which was here on Sargent Avenue. So that's where Snow White actually originated in Winnipeg, and there's actually Charlie Thorson's cottage is here in Gimli as well, and it's a heritage home.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. We've got more coming up, and we have Signe, a photographer, joining us at 7:42.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Ainsley. Checking in with Tandy Vera for a look at weather. Yesterday, a little bit turbulent, Tandy. Hoping today's going to be maybe a bit calmer?
Today is definitely going to be calmer and much cooler than it was yesterday, and mostly dry outside for us. 15 degrees right now, mostly sunny outside. Winds gusting north-northwest at 19 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 89%. So yes, today it's going to be a dry one for us today, though a cool one. We're going to have a high of about 22 degrees. Not much to show you on our satellite image. I do want to note that out in the east, they are facing this low pressure system that's been building and forming all morning, as well as in the west. Later on today, they might form a low pressure system, according to Environment Canada, that could taper into the province of Manitoba overnight. So just keep that in mind for different places, like Thompson up in the north might experience some light showers. But for us here in Winnipeg today, our high is going to be 22 degrees. Winds gusting north at 20 kilometers per hour, and it's mostly going to be sunny. So sunshine on tap for us, which is what we want to experience. It's going to be very cool. Though we do have a humidex of about 25 degrees, so it's going to make it feel like 25 degrees, but it's actually 22 degrees. But those winds will make it feel a little bit cooler, not as bad as they were yesterday. And looking into the evening time, it's going to be 12 degrees as our low. We're going to have very, very low winds, and it's going to be mostly clear outside with a few clouds peeking through. This is for the evening time. And looking into tomorrow, it's going to be a scorcher, 28 degrees. Our seasonal average is about 26 degrees, so it'll be 2 degrees just above that. Winds gusting southwest at 20 kilometers per hour. But again, it's going to be mostly sunny for Winnipeg, so it's going to be dry conditions for us. But those temperatures will increase. Looking ahead to the weekend time, we want to stay hydrated. And don't stay outside for too long, because we're going to be those high 30s according to Environment Canada. The humidex is going to increase, so we're going to have that heat and humidity. So you just want to keep that in mind for when planning out your activities for the week.
Thanks, Tandy. RCMP south of Winnipeg say they've recovered the body of a young man who drowned in a gravel pit. Police say an 18-year-old Winnipeg man was with some friends at a pit on Sunday, southwest of Grunthal on Road 25 East in the rural municipality of Hanover. The man tried to swim across the pit, making it about halfway before disappearing under the water. Efforts were made by RCMP and the local fire department to find the swimmer. Stars also attended and flew over the pit with spotlights to help with the search. The Manitoba RCMP underwater recovery team was consulted and were at the scene on Monday morning. The body of the 18-year-old Winnipeg man was found by RCMP on Monday afternoon. Police continue to investigate the drowning. Voters go to the polls today in a provincial by-election in northern Manitoba. The riding of the Pas-Kamisak was previously represented by NDP member Amanda Laughlin, who died in March. There are 4 candidates running for the seat, including Jennifer Flett for the NDP, Edna Nabes for the Progressive Conservatives, and Dan Quinnell for the Manitoba Liberal Party. Former Progressive Conservative leadership candidate Wally Doddridge is also in the race, running under the Keystone Party banner. The governing NDP currently holds 33 seats in the Manitoba legislature. The PCs have 20, the Liberals hold 1, and there are 2 independent members. Wildfires are forcing thousands out of their homes and leaving behind a trail of destruction across the country. It is all contributing to an economic impact. Take Manitoba loggers, who fear a key timber supply is turning to ash.
When you get a fire, you get a void in that inventory. So that means it's going to hit you, it's going to impact you down the road.
Grant Currian is looking over what he says is a dwindling supply of logs on his property. He's among Manitoba loggers worried about the long-term impacts of wildfires on the industry as blazes rage across the country. Currian says that impact is already being felt. Last year's wildfires burned nearly 9 million hectares across Canada, including 2.38 million hectares here in Manitoba, about 51 times larger than the city of Winnipeg.
This is a seasonal thing where we get, the fires are around longer and longer as it goes. But the bigger problem is as the fires burn, that takes away more fiber for mills. And a lot of times you have to go back and salvage what you can.
Wildfires create a ripple effect across the industry by reducing the timber available for mills, leading to fewer jobs and a big economic blow, especially to rural and northern communities. The industry is asking provincial and federal governments to invest more in wildfire prevention and suppression to protect an industry that has become increasingly difficult to sustain. A community in Toronto hosted a roundtable calling for action less than 2 weeks after a deadly shooting at a street festival.
My son had to witness
a young lady gets shot in the neck, him and his friend, and I had to protect my 10-year-old daughter from getting trampled on.
The roundtable was organized by Salsa on St. Clair's co-sponsor TLN Media and was aimed at addressing the issue of gangs and gun violence at festivals in Toronto. Around 13,000 people were at the festival at the time of the shooting. 2 people were killed. New bail and sentencing reforms were brought up, with 80 changes to the criminal code just now coming into effect. Ottawa has extended the service contract for its aging submarine fleet. The 6-year extension is worth $1.1 billion. There's also an option to extend the contract for another 12 years. Ottawa is planning to replace the Navy's Victoria-class submarines with subs from German shipbuilder TKMS. TKMS is promising the first delivery by 2032. Everyone needs a little help sometimes, even pigeons. These firefighters in Oakland, California came to the aid of this little guy. They posted this video on social media explaining that the pigeon approached them in distress, possibly suffering from smoke inhalation from a nearby car fire. They administered oxygen and the bird eventually flew away. Good to hear. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. On Ash Street, the southbound curb lane will be closed from Wellington Crescent to Academy Road. All eastbound lanes on Corden Avenue will be closed from Wentworth to Lilac Street with a temporary median crossover happening. And on King Edward Street, the southbound curb and right lane will be closed from Bannatyne to Notre Dame. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400. A check now on your gas prices. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.64, small drop from yesterday. The lowest price in the city is $1.54. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Degrees right now, mostly sunny outside, winds gusting north-northwest at 19 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 89%. Now, beautiful day, beautiful cool start to the day. Not much to show you on our satellite image right now. It's very clear for us. We're going to mostly be experiencing clear skies for us with some sunshine and those clouds developing later on in the afternoon. So just keep that in mind. But really cool temperatures and very low wind speeds. Now, looking at our highs across the province, for Churchill, we're going to have a high of about 18 degrees. Thompson at 21 degrees with that light chance of precipitation in the form of rain or showers, 30% chance according to Environment Canada. Island Lake at 20 degrees. I do want to note Island Lake, Thompson, as well as different parts of Flin Flon and Lynn Lake could experience some smoke in the early evening, according to Environment Canada. This is due to the wildfires in the area as well as from eastern Ontario. Lynn Lake with a high of 23 degrees, Flin Flon at 25 degrees, but mostly sunny skies for them as well. Swan River at 24 degrees, Dauphin 23 degrees with that 30% chance of rain, according to Environment Canada. Same with Brandon at 24 degrees. Now looking into Winnipeg, as I said earlier, high is going to be 22 degrees, so a very cool day for us on tap. Pinoa at 21 degrees with mostly sunny skies, and Steinbach also at 21 degrees, pardon me. And looking into Kenora, 19 degrees and mostly sunny as well. Dryden might experience that light precipitation in the form of rain. As I mentioned, there is a low pressure system that is forming out there in the east, and that's why they might experience that rain for today. Now looking into the 7-day forecast for today, we have sunshine on tap for the rest of the week. Those temperatures will increase. It's going to get hotter and more humid, so keep that in mind when planning your activities and traveling about, and remember to always stay hydrated.
Thanks, Tandy. Going on over to Gimli, where Ainsley McPhail is spending the morning at the New Iceland Heritage Museum. Good morning, Ainsley.
Golden Dagen. That means good morning in Icelandic, and I practiced it several times, both in my head and off camera. Good morning, everybody. I'm joined by Signe, who's a photographer, and you have to see these pieces, over 20 of them, highlighting the historic buildings in Winnipeg that feature the Icelandic heritage of over 150 years. Let's start with this one to our immediate left. What did you learn?
Well, I learned that this was commonly called the Guli Hall, which is sort of a slang for an Icelander. It's a Good Templars Hall. It's on at 635 Sargent Avenue, the corner of Sargent and McGee. It was a gathering place where they talked about activism and all things sort of, current at the time.
And basically, you got a really cool tour of all of the Icelandic buildings in Winnipeg.
Through Stefan Johansson's Icelandic Winnipeg tour, yes.
And the second one here, black and white, very cool choice. Which is this building?
So it's a Winnipeg clinic and on St. Mary's Avenue, and it was founded by Dr. Thorkelson, and it's rumored that the style is taken from Icelandic architecture.
I believe you. It's stunning. My personal favorite has to be the stained glass, and I understand that this particular church was entrenched in that history.
Right, so that's the first Lutheran church on Victor Street. It's still used to this day, beautiful church. And outside that church, there's also a plaque that honors the Winnipeg Falcons, so the Icelandic hockey team that won the first gold medal.
So neat. Is there anything that you think that Manitobans would find particularly interesting about that 150 plus years?
I just think the longevity of the culture and the heritage in Winnipeg, and the number of buildings and homes that we might drive past that we don't recognize that has some sort of Icelandic history attached to it.
Yep, hidden history right here in Manitoba. Golden Dian, everybody.
Golden Dine to you, Ainsley. Lower gas prices slowed down inflation to 2.8% in June, but that might not last. CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin on the cost of some other key staples on the rise.
The shopping list of price increases for grocery staples in June includes fresh and frozen chicken up 5.7% compared to May, and bread rolls and buns cost 6% more. Overall, the price tag to feed a family continues to rise, June marking the 17th consecutive month that the inflation in grocery prices outpaced the all-item consumer price index.
Over the last 5 years, prices have increased 20%. Grocery prices have increased 30%.
In June, the price of fresh fruits like grapes helped lessen the gap, and the large increases of the cost of tomatoes of the last year and a half have slowed. Still, one that cost $1.20 then now costs $1.80, and there could be a wild card for upcoming fruit and vegetable prices, and that's whether wildfire smoke impacts crops.
For tomatoes, they will be forming and growing, and that could make for smaller tomatoes or fewer tomatoes. So we don't know. It's very difficult to measure.
Now, that higher price tag has widespread implications. It may be midsummer, but back-to-school shopping is already on.
It was about $130, and I'm not done.
Aid groups say families struggling to fill grocery baskets have little left to fill backpacks.
When you have to choose between paying your bills, between paying your rent, or with feeding your family, you know, school supplies down the list.
And while the cost of grocery baskets were up 3.9% in June, the overall inflation slowed to 2.8%, in large part driven by gas prices. In June, there were diplomatic talks and an interim ceasefire that was announced in the conflict in Iran. Renewed tensions have already seen prices at the pump rise this month. And the cost of travel-related services also went up, particularly in Toronto and Vancouver, World Cup host cities, where hotel room costs rose. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Congratulations are in order at the Detroit Zoo. This baby gorilla is just the second gorilla born in the zoo's history. Officials say the baby girl was born to a first-time mom. Staff are closely monitoring them, and so far, zoo officials say both mom and baby are doing well. All right, let's see who's celebrating a milestone today, shall we? Happy 86th birthday, Elsie. Love from all of your family. Happy birthday, Riley. Love Lauren, the girls, and the kiddies. Happy birthday, Audrey. Much love and best wishes from sister Wilma and brother Lester. Happy 10th birthday, Luca. Love from Grandma and Grandpa. Happy birthday to Danielle from Lane, Lauren, and Anthony. Happy 40th anniversary, Dave and Sandy. Love from your family. Happy anniversary going out to Clifford and Ruth from Lori and Wayne and all your grandkids. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Today for Winnipeg, we're going to have a high of 22 degrees and a low of 12 degrees. Our seasonal average is about 26 degrees, so just a few degrees shy from that. Last year, it was about 28.3 degrees, and the record-breaking is close to 35 degrees, which is quite intense heat. And we might experience those close high 30s on the weekend time, with temperatures ranging between 31 to 32 degrees, so we're very close to breaking that record. Right now, it's 15 degrees, mostly sunny outside. The sun is peeking through beautifully. Those clouds will be on the rise, winds gusting north-northwest at 19 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 89%. So across the province, we're going to be feeling these cool temperatures. Different parts up north might feel temperatures up to 25 degrees for today as their highs. For us here in Winnipeg, we're going to have that cool 22, so it'll be a great day to go out and have a walk. Same with Brandon with a high of about 24 degrees. I do want to note that different areas might experience some light precipitation overnight. This is due to a low pressure system coming in from the east and the west, according to Environment Canada. So that's just something to keep of note. But for the rest of the day, for most of southern Manitoba, it's going to be mostly dry conditions. Up in the north, they do have those air quality warnings because that smoke is intensifying due to the wildfires in the area and coming in from northeastern Ontario. So that's just something to keep in mind. But besides that, it's going to be pleasant outside. We do have a humidex of 25 degrees, and that's what it feels like right now with that heat. But it's going to be a great day to go out and just enjoy the weather.
Thanks, Tandy. This year's fire season is already drawing comparisons to the most destructive one in Canada 3 years ago. CTV's Heather Wright fact-checks Donald Trump's accusation that it's due to forest mismanagement in this country.
Nearly 1,000 wildfires are burning across Canada right now, most of them caused by lightning and many considered out of control.
These fires are so intense that you almost can't fight them. You almost have to move people away from the fire zone, and even water bombers can't do it. It's almost you need weather. I mean, weather caused many of them, and weather has to put them out.
In British Columbia, nearly 115 wildfires are burning. But today, the province's Minister of Forests praised crews for keeping the majority of them contained.
90% of our fires were contained within 5 hectares. And if you look at the response, we are responding quickly, efficiently, and attacking these fires when they start.
While forest fires are part of the natural ecosystem in many parts of Canada, climate change means summers are warmer, the vegetation is drier, making fires more extreme.
We have had bad fire seasons in the past, but we have bad fire seasons more often now because of climate change. That's quite obvious.
This year is already rivaling 2023, the most destructive fire season in Canadian history. Thousands of people have been evacuated from their homes and air quality has been impacted in major cities across North America. But forestry professor David Martel refutes claims that these fires are caused by forest mismanagement.
There's no truth whatsoever to those. We know how to manage forests and we know how to manage fire. But however, we cannot extinguish every fire that occurs, and sometimes these agencies get overwhelmed.
Experts say the biggest contributing factor to intensifying forest fires is climate change, but there are things communities can do to protect themselves. That could include constructing fire breaks, clearing debris along the perimeter of town, and building homes with fire-safe material. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
A lot of people taking vacation these days aren't truly off from work. With smartphones, checking work emails is just a couple of clicks away. Some experts say it's a problem, and Quebec labor standards should be updated. CTV's Christine Long explains.
Summer is here, but our information and communication technologies don't take a break. Should you? Lawyer and researcher with the Centre for Inter-University Research on Globalization and Work at the Université de Montréal, Geneviève Richard says connectivity can be good.
We can work anywhere, anytime, and our professional environment can contact us. Our colleagues, our bosses, our clients can contact us anywhere, anytime.
She adds that hyperconnectivity can have harmful effects on people who don't unplug.
The fact that we are never fully off work, it has been associated in the scientific literatures with a very wide array of negative impacts on physical health, on psychological health, on the quality and quantity of sleep.
Richard says several additions to the Quebec labor standards have been made since the 1970s, yet regulating remote work isn't one of them.
It's easy to check your mails and just, keep up to date with things so when you get back, you're not swamped.
I think it's important to completely disconnect, and I try to make sure that my work takes care of itself while I'm away.
I do not have my work email on me at all. I have no access to it, so it's very nice.
It's not that hard to put it away if you're not missing anything important.
Richard is advocating for amendments to the labor code and says both employers and employees have to make accommodations.
If you know that, all those emails are coming in, all those messages are going unanswered, and people are looking for me, and people are getting anxious, and my inbox is just constantly overflowing.
She says workers' right to disconnect on days off is long overdue. Her recommendations are that labor standards catch up to current technology that allows for constant connection.
But just to make sure that the law takes that into account, because it was written many decades ago, when we didn't have cell phones.
I'll check it periodically if I want to check in on things, but for the most part, I'm on vacation to be on vacation.
Christine Long, CTV News.
Hello there, Adam Scully here inside the TSN Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Monday. And for it, let's go to the Bronx. Pirates and the Yankees. First inning, man on Paul Goldschmidt. Grounds 1 to third. Nick Gonzalez bobbles it, so Ben Rice on his way to third. Watch the attempt to throw home from Brian Reynolds. Oh, that's atrocious. Rice then heads home and scores. A comedy of errors from the Pirates earns your must-see moment from Monday. And tonight, it's the MLB on TSN, Tigers versus Cubs. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's all for now from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Tuesday, July 21st. Sturgeon Falls search. What officials are saying about how 2 boys came to be in treacherous waters and why this location has a legacy of tragedy. A sudden trade slap from the Americans. Which obscure law is cited by the U.S. president as justification for punishing new tariffs against Canadian goods? And here's an ATM that's definitely treat to use, as it always shows patrons a positive balance. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. On CTV Your Morning Winnipeg, and all throughout Manitoba for that matter. Thanks for being with us. Catherine Dow here for Rochelle Legacy. Tandy Vera covering weather for us. So much still to come on this last hour of our show, including at 8:25. We're going to be chatting with the folks from Hulls Haven. They've been an animal rescue. They began with Border Collies, but they really go with all breeds now to help those in need. We're going to learn about their decades of work, what's needed for the wonderful work they do. Plus, we're going to get a little preview of a fringe show called Middle Child. I'm a middle child, so I will be all ears. Dandy, meanwhile, let's take a look for those fringers out there. How's the day going to be treating them?
Very cool day, very nice, cool temperatures, which is nice compared to the heat that we've been experiencing across the province. Right now, it's 15 degrees, mostly sunny outside. Winds gusting north-northwest at 19 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, and the humidity is sitting at 89%. So not much to show you on our satellite image for this morning because it's going to be mostly a sunny day. Those clouds will pick up by the afternoon time across the province, but mostly sunshine on tap for us. So that mix of sun and clouds is what we're going to experience. I do want to note that there is a low pressure system that has been forming out west of us, far west of us, that could taper in eventually in different parts of the province, mostly up in the north. Thompson, Lynn Lake, they do have a 30% chance of precipitation according to Environment Canada. It could taper into Winnipeg as well, but mostly unlikely. That is what they said. It's like a 10% chance according to Environment Canada, but that will be overnight. For today, most of the day is just going to be dry conditions today and tomorrow, which is what we want to experience. In fact, tomorrow it's going to heat up with that 28 degrees high, but it's going to be clear for us, as you can see through a satellite image. Not too much to show you on tap for us. Mostly dry conditions throughout the week, besides that low pressure system, which will taper off into the east eventually. And now looking into your 7-day forecast, today our high is going to be 22 degrees. Our seasonal average is about 26, so we're just a few degrees shy from that. that, so a very cool start to the day. A great day to go out, take a walk, because it won't be too hot, though the Humidex says it might feel like 25 degrees when we're actually at 22 degrees. But the rest of the week, it's going to be a scorcher, so you want to keep that in mind when traveling about and looking at our beautiful weather art of the day from Rafa. So beautiful. I love the little ladybugs, the clouds, and the sunshine. It's giving me sunshine, summertime vibes. Please keep the pictures coming. To submit your child's weather art of the day, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form. Your art can be shown on Your Morning Winnipeg, and we'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crocodile on Keniston and Regent locations.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crocodile Paint Your Own Pottery, now open on Regent and Keniston.
Thanks, Tandy. Recovery teams are searching Nutimik Lake in the Whiteshell for two boys who ended up in the water on Saturday. It is believed a 10-year-old slipped into the water at Sturgeon Falls, and his 13-year-old brother went in to save him. Lac du Bonny RCMP say they received a report of a possible drowning near Sturgeon Falls Trail just after 12:30 p.m. on Saturday. Officers, along with local fire crews and EMS, responded immediately and determined the two boys, who are related, had been swept into the rapids at Sturgeon Falls. An RCMP spokesperson says one boy slipped on the rocks and fell into the water. Officers believe the older boy went into the water to help the younger one. The RCMP's underwater recovery team and the Hatarian Emergency Aquatic Response Team have both been deployed to help. Patrols of the water and shoreline, aided by drones, have not found either boy. However, the RCMP says it has located some clothing, which it believes was the 13-year-old's. This isn't the first drowning tragedy at this place. A 38-year-old woman died last year and a 12-year-old boy in 2023. Manitoba Park says it's reviewing safety measures in the area, which already include warning signs that describe slippery or hidden rocks, strong currents, and a steep drop-off. We're getting a clearer picture of just how much damage was done during last month's rainstorm at Dauphin Regional Health Centre and what it'll take to get the hospital back up and running. Prairie Mountain Health says significant damage was done to critical infrastructure. That includes to its medical gas systems, pharmacy, and HVAC system. Prairie Mountain's immediate focus is restoring lab and diagnostic services near Dauphin. In the meantime, St. Rose Hospital's emergency department is open 24/7. Stars Air Ambulance has moved from Winnipeg to Brandon, and Dauphin area maternity patients are being directed to Brandon or Neepawa. More details can be found on Prairie Mountain Health's website. U.S. President Donald Trump is hitting Canada with new 50% tariffs using an almost 100-year-old trade act.
Section 338 comes from the Trade Act of 1930 and has never actually been used by any American president before.
The Trump administration says this law allows the U.S. to respond to discriminatory treatment of its products. In other words, the U.S. calls this payback for Canadian actions like supply management, retaliatory tariffs, and banning U.S. alcohol. These new tariffs would hit Canadian goods like dairy, alcohol, down jackets, even hockey sticks. They come into effect by August 19th. Canada's premiers start 3 days of meetings in Charlottetown today. Talks will focus on bringing down remaining provincial trade barriers and advocating for major projects. New U.S. tariffs will also be a main topic of discussion. Prime Minister Mark Carney will join the talks on Thursday. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says he's planning to bring up the need for a national wildfire strategy. Ontario Premier Doug Ford is calling Trump's threat to tariff Canada for wildfire smoke rubbish.
You got to remind President Trump that there's 3.9 million acres burning in the United States right now. And if we had resources, we would send them down to our closest friends and allies. So, you know something, rather than criticize and threaten Canada, your closest friends, maybe one day you're going to need our help like you did last year, and we deployed the people.
Ford is urging U.S. politicians to stop complaining and send help instead. Nearly 200 wildfires are currently burning in northern Ontario, with flames now covering 735,000 hectares. It's shaping up to be Ontario's worst fire season on record, surpassing the previous record set in 2021. The vast majority of that has burned over the last 10 days, following severe thunderstorms and a scorching heat wave. For this ATM, you'll need more than just a PIN. You'll also need paws, because it's an ATM for dogs. Yes, you heard that right. And in this case, ATM stands for Automatic Treat Machine. Pups just have to step onto the pad and it will give them a free snack. This ATM is at the TD Bank on Davie Street in Vancouver. The bank says it's a pilot project and is at 3 locations in Canada. Taking a check-in on traffic around the Norwood Bridge. Pretty quiet, bit of a lineup there, I should note. No major stalls or crashes to tell you about, but if you have any issues, you can always text us your updates at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Heading back over to the New Iceland Heritage Museum. That's where Ainsley McPhail is spending her morning. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, and boy, do I love Gimli. It's rich in its Icelandic heritage. This exhibition showcases that and the over 150 years since coming to Manitoba. Signe is behind all of the photographs here for this exhibition. What can you tell us about it?
I can tell you that this photo display is a result of a Icelandic Winnipeg bus tour that we initiated in October of last year. It was part of
a greater project to showcase all of this. And there's some pictures that you wanted to highlight. Let's start with the little house.
Okay, so this house is located at 175 Syndicate Street. It's the home of Sir William Stevenson. So he's a Canadian spy. He's been better known as, from his wartime nickname, as Intrepid, and he's believed to be modeled after, or the modern James Bond after him.
Well, Hollywood needs to take note. That is pretty darn cool. I like this black and white one. Tell us about it.
So this is the residence of the Consulate General of Iceland to Winnipeg. And this is at number 1 Wellington Crescent. It's established for professionally served Consulate General in Winnipeg since 1999, but there's been a consular presence in Winnipeg for 80 years.
And speaking of that presence, both in Winnipeg and in Gimli, lots of Icelanders. What does it mean to them to be able to preserve this history in such an amazing way?
Well, to be able to have it in photographs, like so often things aren't in print to be able to look at and display. So to be able to have them photographed for everyone to view has been well received.
And you know what? The film festival is coming up soon too, so maybe they should do one about that spy. I would watch it. I would for sure watch it.
It's a really cool story. All right, thanks for that, Ainsley. Do you have a glorious garden? Well, here at Your Morning Winnipeg, we love to see how passionate you are about your yard work. Could be an annual, perennial vegetable garden. Tell us about it and enter the contest to win a $500 gift card from St. Mary's Nursery and Garden Center. Plus, have the chance to show off your garden live on Your Morning Winnipeg with a visit from our own Ainsley McPhail. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca. Fill out the form with your answers and photos. Good luck.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
Mostly sunny outside, 15 degrees currently, winds gusting north at 26 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 83%. So those winds have increased from what we were expecting, and they're not going to increase that much more according to Environment Canada. The max we will get for Winnipeg is about 40 kilometers per hour, which is different from yesterday, which is 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. But right now it's 15 degrees on tap for Winnipeg, and looking across the province, at Brandon's 15 degrees, Portage is at 16 degrees, but I do want to note Environment Canada says they're dealing with some smoke and fog right now, which might decrease visibility. So that's just a note for them. In Dauphin, it's 15 degrees, Swan River at 15 degrees. Currently, Island Lake at 12 degrees. They were dealing with mist earlier in the morning today. 12 degrees in Thompson and Lynn Lake, 15 degrees, both dealing with air quality warnings. According to Environment Canada, due to that wildfire smoke, we have Churchill at currently 13 degrees. Now, as I mentioned to you before earlier, not much to show you on our satellite image, which is a good thing because we're just going to have sunshine on tap and clear skies with those clouds developing in the later part of the afternoon. So just want to keep that in mind. But it's going to be mostly cool temperatures, a high of 22 for us today, which is quite a nice high to experience, especially for this time of year. But by the Afternoon's going to be about 20 degrees by 5 p.m., 21 degrees. Those winds will be gusting north at 20 kilometers per hour. Low winds by the time we get into the evening time. So again, not as windy as it was yesterday, but that wind will still make it feel cooler today in general with these cool temperatures. And then looking into our 7-day forecast, sunshine on tap. Tomorrow that temperature will increase 28 degrees. So stay hydrated. You got to, because that temperature is only going to get worse throughout the weekend, but it'll be a great time to go out and just enjoy the warm weather if you're thinking about doing that. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
This may be the tariff that breaks the Canadian camel's back. U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening a 50% tariff on Canadian hockey sticks and hockey equipment. The tariff would also affect booze, dairy, plywood, and cement. Energy and critical minerals would not be hit. Trump is using the Depression-era Tariff Act of 1930 that allows the president to impose tariffs without congressional approval when U.S. goods are being discriminated against. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, may hike prices as much as 10% in 2027 to cover the rising cost of manufacturing materials, according to the Japanese newspaper Nikkei, citing people with knowledge of the matter. The main chip maker to NVIDIA and Apple held talks with unspecified clients about hiking the base prices it charges from 5 to 10%, the newspaper reported. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
You might have seen the term liquid adulthood on your social media feeds. It's a phrase that these days is being applied to Gen Z, a demographic some say are not hitting the traditional markers of adulthood. Here to explain more about what liquid adulthood is exactly and what we should know about it, I'm joined by Lori Wilkinson, a professor of sociology at the University of Manitoba and Canada Research Chair in Migration Futures. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So liquid adulthood, not exactly a new term, I understand, but for those who maybe haven't heard it, what's it all about?
It refers to the fact that people have to change the way they operate all the time. So, looking for jobs all the time, or changing their personalities. But it comes from a term called liquid modernity, which actually refers to the fact that our institutions are unstable. So think about today. We have economic insecurity, world conflict, we have political instability, environmental instability, and that's where this term comes from, because our institutions don't look the way they used to look even 10 years ago.
And as a result, Gen Z perhaps are not hitting those milestones of adulthood, like buying a house, that sort of thing?
Absolutely. So the fact that everything's changing and everything's uncertain, imagine being at a point in where you're just entering adulthood. You're trying to find a job in uncertain economic conditions. So how are you supposed to buy a house? How are you supposed to afford to have children under these unstable conditions?
I'm a millennial. This isn't sounding unfamiliar, because like my demographic was you're buying too much avocado toast and you can't afford a house, right? So it's very similar of a lot of blame being assigned. Do you think that's fair in this case?
Absolutely. It's not fair to blame young people for the conditions that human society can easily change. We've created all of these institutions, and yet we're unwilling to make changes to accommodate the entrance of newcomers, and so it becomes easier to blame people for their failure. So my generation, we were called lazy. I'm Gen X. We were lazy. We were no good. We didn't care, right? And that's just victim blaming for the rest of society not making changes to accommodate people.
It seems like every generation gets kind of a rap at some point, and this is maybe just part of Gen Z's like a rite of passage?
Well, yes, but I don't think it's a rite of passage. I think it's the fact that we're unwilling as a society to make the changes that we need to make in order to accommodate people, to make sure everybody's fed, make sure everybody has a job, make sure everybody has a house.
So it's not necessarily just up to Gen Z to be following the same script as the generation before, because it's not even possible?
No, but we expect them to, right? Because we often benchmark our own lives when we're talking to other people. So my parents got married at the age of 22. I wasn't even finished school at that age. And so when we have age expectations or best before dates, and these dates are getting backed up, then people tend to get blamed for not achieving these goals at the right age.
It all seems not very helpful. So I guess all this talk about who's not doing what and when. So I guess, is there a message to Gen Zs watching, or to, you know, parents, loved ones who maybe want to shift the blame game away? What can they keep in mind when this goes around?
So I think that we need to make our politicians accountable, because it's easy for people to blame other people rather than making the big changes that we need to make our society more welcoming. So one message I have for everyone is go out and vote. Your vote is precious, and make politicians earn your vote. And when politicians don't do what they promise, or they blame young people or immigrants or whatever other group that they can, it's just deflecting from their own job. They need to make these changes.
Wonderful. Well, this is a fascinating topic. Thanks for joining us, as always.
Thanks for having me on.
Such a great conversation. As a Gen Z myself, I felt that one. It's 15 degrees currently, mostly sunny outside, winds gusting north at 26 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 83%. So very cool start to the day. Those winds have increased, I will say, being out here. It's not as windy as it was yesterday. My hair was just flying out the way, but right now it's flying a little bit, and so are the beautiful plants here, but not as much as it was yesterday. And that's what we're going to have on tap for us mostly across the province. We're going to have this mixture of sunshine and a bit of clouds developing in the afternoon time, but mostly sunny, clear skies. Air quality warnings up in the north for the Pa, Thompson, Lynn Lake, Flin Flon. Just keep that in mind due to that wildfire smoke in the area, and as well as coming in from northeastern Ontario. But for us, the sunshine's beautiful, and it's mostly also going to be dry, because yesterday that thunderstorm, it was so gray outside, it almost looked like we're in a horror movie, I thought in my head. But yes, that thunderstorm did happen, not for too long, but some places did receive quite a lot of rain, but that's not for us today. Anywhere in the province, it's mostly dry conditions, which is what we want to experience, especially for this time of year. But do note those temperatures will increase as we go closer to the week. Now, looking into our beautiful Skywatch pick of the day from Pam. Wow, so beautiful at Clearwater Lake. This makes me want to go in and just dive in for some summertime good fun, which you can do this weekend with those high temperatures.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires, proudly keeping Canadians rolling for 50 years.
Clinical trials often offer patients hope when no other treatments are available. But one group says Canada's prominence in clinical trials is slipping. We get more from CTV's Pauline Chan.
In some disease areas like oncology, it can mean a difference between life and death. A clinical trial is an opportunity for Canadians to access new innovative medicines, cutting-edge therapies, and specialized care.
Pharmacist Bettina Hamlin of Innovative Medicines Canada worries that Canada's once leading role as a place to hold clinical trials is slipping.
And we're losing that competitiveness because other countries are really stepping up and attracting clinical trials into their jurisdictions.
That's despite Canada having top universities, renowned researchers, and excellent hospitals.
It takes on average 2 years for Canadians to then access that medicine. And so that time lapse is not very attractive for companies to invest in clinical trials in Canada because it takes so long to then actually bring the medicines to Canadians. Other countries, they make it available on the market as soon as the regulators have determined that a medicine is safe and effective.
Another factor that's come up is President Trump's call to give the U.S. most favored nation status.
They want to get the guaranteed lowest price of any country, and historically, Canadians have paid a lot less. So some companies may not want to launch a new medicine and set a low bar that may affect their market in the American market, for example.
Barry Stein knows the importance of access to clinical trials. He was diagnosed with colon cancer in 1995 and went through 2 clinical trials, one in California, one in Montreal.
What we believe is that we have to improve the way we do things in Canada to encourage investment in life sciences and ultimately in new products that patients can avail themselves of in Canada.
He says streamlining the process, such as Ontario has done with its FAST program, accelerating access to certain cancer drugs, will help not only patients, but also the healthcare industry. And Hamlin says those skilled jobs and investment in medical research are a big part of Canada's economy. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
There are thousands of Sony PlayStation games, and most are on a physical disc. But the company says it will stop making physical copies of games in 2028 and go completely online. But fans aren't taking the move lying down. Winnipeg-based PNP Games has launched a petition asking Sony to keep the physical format alive. And it's grown bigger than they anticipated so far. 333,000 people have signed.
Something that's lost is the ability to actually share these games with other people. Like, you know, in 30 years, if I want to share a game with, say, a grandchild or something like that, I may not have the ability to do that at all, purely because of a company decision.
Sony says the decision to end physical media is due to changing consumer preferences. It says consumer preferences for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. Some curling icons are among the latest group of Sport Manitoba Hall of Fame inductees. The late Don Duguid is among the 2026 class. He won the Canadian Brier 3 times and was a 2-time world champion. Also being inducted, the 2005 to 2010 edition of Team Jennifer Jones. The team won the Canadian Women's Curling Championship 4 times, the World Championship in 2008, and World Bronze in 2010. Other inductees include rugby player Mandy Marchuk, multi-sport athlete Diane Pidskull-Herchuk, and Wayne McMahon as an athlete builder in athletics. The induction ceremony will take place on October 29th. Here's a live look at St. James Bridge. Traffic moving along swimmingly on this Tuesday. We're taking a break. More news and weather still on the other side.
Degrees right now, mostly sunny outside. Winds gusting north at 26 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 83%. Now, as you can see through our satellite image, there's not too much to show you for today. It's mostly going to be sunshine on tap for us with those clouds developing in the later part of the afternoon, but it's going to be sunny skies, and that's across the province with this mixed bag of temperatures between the mid-20s and low 20s. So again, very nice cool temperatures for us here in Winnipeg. Our high is going to be 22 degrees, winds gusting north at 20 kilometers per hour, mainly sunny outside for us. And by the time we get into the evening time, it's going to be 12 degrees with very, very low winds, very low compared to the winds that we had yesterday, and only a few clouds. So it's going to be mostly clear outside by the nighttime. And going into tomorrow, that temperature will increase. It's going to be a high of 28 degrees. I know it's only going to get higher throughout the rest of the week. Winds gusting southwest at 20 kilometers per hour. But again, it's a nice, beautiful, sunny day that we're going to get to experience, which is the summertime vibe that we want to have. And looking into your 5-day forecast, as I mentioned, those temperatures are only going to be increasing more, 29, 30, 31, and that's going to be all week. So it's going to get hotter and hotter. So you want to keep that in mind, keep hydrated, do what you need to do, because those temperatures are just going to keep getting worse, as well as the humidity, according to Environment Canada. So there's a few things to keep of note as you travel about for your day.
Thanks, Tandy. Voters go to the polls today in a provincial by-election in northern Manitoba. The riding of the Pas-Kamisak was previously represented by NDP member Amanda Laughlin, who died in March. There are 4 candidates running for the seat, including Jennifer Flett for the NDP, Edna Nebes for the Progressive Conservatives, and Dan Quinnell for the Manitoba Liberal Party. Former Progressive Conservative leadership candidate Wally Doddridge is also in the race, running under the Keystone Party banner. Doddridge moved to the Keystone Party after the Tories blocked him from running for the party in the next general election in the riding of Turtle Mountain. The governing NDP currently holds 33 seats in the Manitoba legislature. The PCs have 20, the Liberals hold 1, and there are 2 independent members. Folks going to the ballet, theater, or the opera might soon feel a little safer getting there.
When people feel comfortable and confident attending performances, festivals, and other events, everybody benefits.
After hearing concerns from the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham has launched the Performing Arts Wayfinder program. It expands on the Downtown Community Safety Partnership's existing program by offering a dedicated patrol around the Centennial Concert Hall, Royal Manitoba Theatre Centre, and nearby parking lots during performances and rehearsals. Patrons can also be escorted to and from their vehicles using the DCSP app. By Monday, people in southwestern Ontario should have another route to get across the border when the Gordie Howe Bridge officially opens.
Unless something crazy happens in Trump land where, there's wildfire smoke and he sees he could leverage this again, who knows? But I think, by all accounts, this is going to move forward. There'll be a ribbon cutting on Friday, opening on Monday. Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkins confirmed the date, saying it should be smooth sailing next week. As we know, the bridge opening has been delayed multiple times, with U.S. President Donald Trump halting everything in June over the toll revenue agreement. But this time, it seems to be a go. Even U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra confirmed the date. The terms of the deal made between Canada and the U.S. haven't been fully revealed. The Conservatives are now pushing for the federal government to release the details. People spend more time outside this time of year, and it seems that's also a good way to give your brain a boost. Here's Mandy Gaither.
The days are longer, the weather is warmer, and for parents, there's a break from the busy school year routine. So summer is a perfect time for small shifts to healthier habits.
All of these small changes, according to research, can make a bigger impact than overhauling your life.
Clinical psychologist Susan Albers with Cleveland Clinic says summer is one of the best times to reset mental health. And she says self-care doesn't have to be expensive or complicated.
It can be as simple as taking a walk outside, starting a new hobby, making a phone call to a friend.
Albers says safe sun exposure outdoors can boost the mood and lower the blood pressure. Add in some exercise and it'll release feel-good hormones that can help you be happier, acting as a natural antidepressant. And she says to try something new.
Our brains love novelty. It helps us to stay curious, engaged, and alert. It's a great time to visit a new museum, take a drive somewhere you've never been.
Albers says social connections are critical for mental health, so invite a friend for some summer fun. And since what we eat impacts how we feel, she says to take advantage of some of the tastiest healthy foods now in season.
During the summer, fruits and vegetables are at their peak. They're freshest. So we're naturally motivated to eat a wide variety and range of colorful foods that nourish our brain and our body.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Taking a look at the current traffic situation around Confusion Corner. Pretty quiet on this stretch. Looks like most folks not going into work today. But otherwise, we've been hearing it's a pretty smooth drive out there. That's the good news. Taking a look at your gas prices in Winnipeg, the average $1.64, small drop over yesterday. The lowest price in the city is $1.54. All this information is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Time now for your answers to our question of the day. We wanted to know, what is your favorite junk food? Charmaine from the Paw says, my favorite junk food is red berries. Any good candy as well. And Darren likes mini donuts. Me too. Carol shared, my snack of choice is Hawkins Cheesies. Oh my God, I have a huge addiction. Me too. Favorite junk food for Denise, potato chips. For Henry, pizza pops. He said, I like them deep fried, not microwaved, the original way that were made to be presented. Plus, they were made in Winnipeg. Susan loves milk chocolate. Sandy's favorite junk food, also Cheesies. Sunflower seeds and salt and vinegar chips for Unki. And Mark's favorite junk food is nachos with guacamole. And Teresa says, my favorite junk food, French fries, hands down, salty and crispy for the win. Thanks everyone for your responses.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic. Science-backed body contouring.
Favorite junk food, Ainsley? I'm putting you on the spot.
Ice cream, but it's a dairy product, so it's technically healthy. I don't know if it has protein in it. I don't really count the macros when I'm shoving my face. Well, that's a personal question. This is a rabbit hole. We're in Gimli. Good Good morning. We're at the Iceland Heritage Museum, and lots to see here. How do you say good morning in Icelandic again, Juliana?
Golden Dayan.
Perfect, because I kept saying golden, and it's like the golden. But some of those words too, they sound a little bit different as well. What was the one about the building we were talking about earlier?
Oh, Thorlickson, not Thorkelson.
Perfect. Okay. You don't, and you don't have to say it like that when you come to the museum. We're just here to learn. This is a beautiful entranceway, and we're getting back to basics.
So here in the museum, we chronologically tell the story of the settlement of New Iceland. So in the area that we are in right now, it talks about what conditions were like in Iceland, why they left, what they looked like, and then what they brought with them. So they were allowed to bring one trunk with them when they came. And so if you can imagine packing up the most valuable things to yourself and only allowed to bring one trunk with you to a new life, how would you choose and how would you fill that trunk? The story goes that no matter what size the trunk was, the Icelanders always brought books with them. We are a great, very literate society, 99.9% literacy rate in Iceland. So there was always books in the trunks.
I think mine could be insulated, and I would put ice cream in there.
Always ice cream. Ice cream is good for you.
Do you have people, because it's so entrenched in the heritage still to this day, do you have people coming in with memories? Because I understand that people actually bring in artifacts for you.
They do. So we accept artifacts that relate to the settlement of New Iceland from 1875 to about 1930, and we accept books that are published in Manitoba, in Winnipeg, and there's actually books that are published in NASA and different things. So we do accept artifacts, but we ask that the donors fill in a form, and then we make the decision from there. So
I'm so sorry we came all this way and then I stole all your time talking about ice cream. They've got lots of events coming up, but I want you to head to a link on the website for more details. There's also that big festival coming up as well next weekend.
They've got some good places to get.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, no kidding. They've got some great places to get ice cream in Gimli, Ainsley, so head out that way. Tandy, favorite junk food? Shoot.
Oh, favorite junk food? I would say ice cream too. I love a good ice cream. I have ice cream and tea. I'm a bit weird like that.
Hot and cold, I like it.
Hot and cold. And right now it's pretty warm. Hot outside. Not as hot as yesterday, but hot outside. 15 degrees currently. Mostly sunny outside. Beautiful start to the day. Winds gusting north at 26 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 83%. So yes, I'm starting to feel that heat, which Environment Canada did warn about, because as though our high will be 22 degrees, we're going to have a humid index of about 25 degrees. So it's going to feel like 25 degrees, but it's going to be 22. And across the province, we're going to have this mixed bag of sunshine and clouds. I will say, they did say the clouds would increase through the afternoon. I'm seeing that clouds increasing right now here in downtown Winnipeg, but across the province, we're going to have that mix of sun and clouds. So it's going to be a dry one, more dry than it was yesterday with that thunderstorm across different parts of Manitoba. Not for us on tap today, but might have some light precipitation overnight for our friends up in the north who are actually dealing with an air quality warning. So that's just something of note. But right now it's going to be a cool day, especially with these winds at 26 kilometers per hour. And we're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by the Better Business Bureau. Research at bbb.org before you buy.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
These teenage twins know a thing or two about showing off their pigs. Yes, you heard that right. Here's ABC's Danny New.
Teenagers are not always known for their intense concentration. But then there are the Dadson twins and their many pigs.
How much do you guys love your pigs?
This much. Karis and crew here are two 16-year-old pig showing prodigies out of California who have both won national competitions in this field. Essentially, there are two main components to showing pigs. One, the dog show-like evaluation of your pig for its breed, And then the showmanship, which for Karis and crew involves gently nudging their pigs in a direction while maintaining a stare that could fry bacon.
Being able to hold eye contact with the judge in front of us shows that we have control over our animal and that honestly that we're here to win.
Like their parents before them, Karis and crew were showing pigs at an early age. But actually, even younger than their parents, they got their start at 3 years old.
Do you remember a time when you weren't showing pigs in your life?
Honestly, no.
The furthest back I can go in my memory, it's just like me showing at our county fair when I was 3 or 4 years old.
If you take a few steps over here, we have our sows.
Fast forward more than a decade later, and now these two are working every day to take care of their dozens of pigs at their family farm, which is a hobby they say their parents never forced on them or anything. They just love it.
We're out there every day from sun up to sundown, early mornings and late nights. You go out there, you walk pigs, wash pigs, clean pens, feed them, make sure everything is going well.
Kiwi Showmanship Champion is number 11, Karis Dadson.
But on the weekends, it's all about the competitions, as it has been for almost their entire lives.
Honestly, I don't see myself not doing it. It's something that I love, and it's a passion that I have, as well as my family members.
Technically, Karis and crew will age out of most of these competitions in a few years, but they both plan on pursuing degrees in agriculture when they get to college and might even one day judge these same competitions. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
We've all heard the phrase middle child syndrome to describe the often overlooked kids stuck between their siblings, maybe diplomatic and peacekeeping or rebellious and fiercely independent. Even our own city has been described as Canada's middle child. And it's also proving to be ripe territory for a comedy currently taking the stage as part of the Winnipeg Fringe Festival. With me now to share the details about middle child, I'm joined by performers Kathleen Greenfield and Tony Adams. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning. Are you both middle children?
I'm the middle child.
Tony?
It's complicated.
It's complicated,
for me.
gotcha.
Yeah, I'm a twin, so I'm like the older twin, but yeah, so
That'll
youngest.
be the sequel, huh?
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I am a middle child, so I'm super curious, why did you think this subject matter was great, breeding ground for a wonderful comedy?
Well, I think because I'm the peacekeeper in my family, and there's just so much tension when it comes to being the middle child. You're always between your two siblings or more, if you have more siblings. And also the middle child is dying because people are only having 3, 4, 5 kids, or people are only having 2 kids now, or 1 kid. And so it's a time to celebrate middle children before they cease to exist.
I agree, we're endangered species. Yes. Tony, what is it all about for those? Like, if you needed a log line to describe, what's kind of the premise?
It's like we're really diving into family dynamics in a really surreal and absurd way. So it's very funny, but also very touching, I would say. Yeah.
And I understand it's kind of drawn from personal experience as well?
It's based on my personal experience growing up in a really small town in northern BC, and also my experience losing my father. So there's a whole other part of it about kind of the funeral of my father and my siblings and I attending that funeral, and just how the dynamics re-emerged as adults.
I always find in tragedy there are some really darkly funny moments, so I imagine this is there's some good stuff there. Yeah. And you folks are very busy. Tony, you have another show as well at Fringe, I understand.
Yeah, I'm doing my solo show, Tony Wrestles a Stranger, as well. So.
Is that what it sounds like? Are you wrestling an audience member?
I don't want to scare people off. I won't wrestle you.
Okay.
Promise.
That's good.
Promise.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm curious, you're from out west, and you've been to Winnipeg Fringe Festival before. I'm wondering how this festival stacks up. What do you think of what we've got on offer here?
Do you want to? We both love the Winnipeg Fringe. The best.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Having great conversations with artists about your work has been a really amazing part of it. Is going to the King's Head pub at the end of the night and just really like talking, getting notes from fellow artists. People are so nice. Like you go and talk to them, and they want you to talk to them. Like that's a nice quality.
Well, I'm curious too. You said people are so nice. So how have audiences been responding to both of the shows?
Really well. So the front of house people at the Colin Jackson studio, they said that people come out kind of confused, excited, and kind of raving about Middle Child, and I feel it's the same for Tony Wrestles. People, they're such surreal performances. Yeah, it's so hard. We make a lot of mess in our shows, and so people want to talk to us in the end, and we're like, oh, please, like we just have to clean up.
And then we can do a talk back after.
Talk outside. Wait for us in the lobby.
Wonderful. Okay, so for those out there who like the sounds of these shows. Where are you guys performing? How can they check you out?
Well, Middle Child is at the Colin Jackson Studio in the Prairie Theatre Exchange, which is in the mall, Portage Place Mall. And I cannot remember when our next show is.
There's a full schedule online.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Tony Russell's A Stranger is at Venue 4 CCFM in St. Boniface. I have a show Wednesday at 4:30. 3 others after that, so
wonderful.
Always room.
Always room and a few more chances to check you both out. Yes. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, today is a good day to go out and fringe. Same for the rest of the week. 15 degrees currently, mostly sunny outside, winds gusting north at 26 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 83%. So yeah, if you want to go out and check out fringe for the rest of the week, I say you should, because we're going to be dealing with some nice warm temperatures and sunny skies. Looking at our satellite image, I don't have much to show you because we don't have much on tap for us today besides that sunshine and those clouds, which will be developing in the later afternoon. They've actually started developing already. When I was up on the rooftop, I did notice that. But again, mostly dry conditions for us today and for most of the week for most parts of the province. Our high today is going to be 22 degrees, so a nice cool day to go out and take a walk. Tomorrow, 28 degrees, and those temperatures are only going to be increasing throughout the week. So we're going to get into those high 30 double digits. You want to keep that in mind for the weekend time and stay hydrated. But it's going to be a good time to go out, enjoy some fringe, enjoy the festival, and just have fun. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Let's wrap things up with a couple fun videos. Wedding season is here, so just a reminder for those tying the knot to just be yourself. Take these two, for example. The camera does not lie. It caught some candid moments of these lovebirds on their big day that had them laughing out loud. Absolutely picture perfect. It's better than those boring stage photos, honestly. Okay, so do you know what the inside of a golf ball looks like? Good to know. It looks like those are actually rubber bands tightly wound around a small liquid-filled core. Cool, but kind of creepy at the same time, and gross.
That is so weird.
Nightmare fuel.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and finally, it's another hot one this weekend, as Tandy told us, but when it's just a reminder there that you've got to be safe when you're out on the water. Yeah, be just like Maya. The little chihuahua is ready to dip into the pool, but she's got her life jacket, of course. She's just learning how to swim, but will be a pro in no time. She looks asleep.
Yeah, the little feet in the beginning.
Yeah. Like tongue half out. I'm going to go dip in a pool because it's hot out there. Yeah. See you tomorrow.